Okay, guys, alternate ending. Take 43.
With so many movies on the net and TV, it's kinda hard being up and film savvy. Do you catch a show while you're on the go? And how do you know what to keep or what to throw? How do you know what to keep or what to throw? Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending. Tune in to alternate ending now. Please give a warm welcome to the hosts of Alternate Ending.
Welcome to Alternating. We're discovering good movies, one bad movie at a time. I'm film school dropout Rob Jarasinski. Across from me is our casual moviegoer, Carrie Jarasinski. And for the first time in what seems like eternity,
it's been so long.
Yeah,
it's been so long. We can have crosstalk, and I'm not worried that like the laggy internet is making the crosstalk bad.
Yeah.
That's great.
Tim, you have beautiful eyes.
You have beautiful eyes.
Yeah. I'm just noticing it now for the first time. It doesn't translate as well over Zoom.
No.
Yeah, it's nice to have you.
And you have a nice, warm Maldivesian glow.
I do have a glow,
skin.
and this is not the fake glow.
This is the real glow.
This is the real thing.
This is just at-home scrub.
Yeah, this isn't the. No scrubbing to get this look. This was the natural sun-kissed look rather than the spray tan that we ended up getting that you loved, by the way, when we got it. Yes.
Did I?
More on that in just a little bit. So yeah, our critic in residence, Tim Brayton, joins us back in studio. We're doing a little bit of a retro episode where we're going to have some worth mentioning because we just have so many movies that we watched over the last 2 weeks. And then we're going to be doing our worst of 2021. People always ask us, why is your phrase discovering good movies one bad movie at a time? It is because in order to achieve finding a good movie, especially nowadays it seems, you have to go through a crap ton of god awful movies, which we've done, and we've narrowed it down to our worst 5 of 2021. I'm curious how we're gonna line up, if there's gonna be any lineup.
100% overlap.
I don't know.
I don't think you can disagree with my list.
What I'm curious is if any of the ones that end up being in the worst, like I don't think we love, like the other person's not going to have loved it, but I'm curious if they were favorable to it. So like make sure as we go through them, let us know your perspectives if you were like 3 stars or higher on someone's worst of list, because I think that is bound to happen for Tim and I.
I think we're going to have a very exciting, when we get started on my number 5, I think things are going to be very cool on that front.
But first, right. Carrie, you and I have been traveling about. I recorded from Maldives our little outro for the last episode because we weren't able to get all of the listeners' top 5 picks in there. So yeah, do you have any like short kind of thoughts from our 2-week extravaganza in Dubai or New York? First New York, Dubai, then Maldives.
I think based on the fact that my parents came over and wanted to hear about the trip and they finally just left like in the middle of the stories, that I thought about this in advance. I know I'm a little wordy at times. So Tim, for you, in order to not bore you, I'm initiating a choose your own adventure.
Okay.
You also skip a lot of things, by the way, in your storytelling.
How about this? How about I'll tell the story. You tell me the things that I skip. You just interrupt me.
So
okay?
when do I get to choose?
Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to give you 3 movies, okay? Each of these movies are indicative of an experience that we had on the trip, okay? And once you choose that movie, I will tell you the corresponding story that goes with it. Okay?
Here's what we should do, by the way.
What?
For the 2 that are not shared, we should do a little outro thing just for Patreons only, just to sweeten the deal.
But I'm really just hoping that I don't have to tell some of these stories. Well,
it'll be to a limited audience because I think they're all very good. I don't have a favorite.
Awkward.
I don't have a favorite.
All so awkward.
It's all very good.
Yeah. Okay. So Tim, I'm going to give you the 3 movies. Okay, you ready?
I'm excited. I'm ready.
All right. Your first movie is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Okay.
Okay. Next movie, Home Alone 2. Lost in New York.
Okay.
I don't know if that's the title, but you know what I'm talking
That's the
about.
title. Well, it might not have a 2 in it, but that is the title otherwise.
And the last one you get is Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
Well, you've promised me a lesbian interlude with the second one, but I want to hear more about Rob's sex life on the trip. So I'm going to go with Temple of Doom. I assume that's the one that will
Wow.
involve Rob doing crazy things.
I actually don't remember what this ties to. I know the other ones. I don't remember.
So I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't think this is what you were going to pick. So I'm sweating profusely on the right side.
Would you like me to pick one of the
No.
other ones?
The other one's horrifying. So I will not. I'm glad to not have to actually share that in a public forum, because I was also going to give a caveat that, like, please, if you work with me in real life, please don't listen.
Well, I guess I do want to go with Portrait of a Lady on Fire.
No. You're right. We'll do an outtake. Of that story.
I really don't remember what. Okay, I'm excited too, because I can't see how anything we did ties to Temple of Doom. But
Indiana Jones. I am. Who is the gal with the perm from that movie?
sure, Kate Capshaw.
Kate Capshaw.
Yeah.
You
This
met
was-
Kate
Okay, well,
Capshaw on
we'll
the
get there.
Multiverse.
We'll get there.
Because
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, it'll be fun for me.
Okay.
as well too.
So just jump in on me, Rob. Just jump in on me. So this is the camel story.
The camel story, sure.
There are not camels in Indiana Jones and the Temple of
But
Doom.
we'll get there. We'll
Okay.
get there. So, all right. Long story short, I'm going to keep this real
Too
brief.
late.
Oh. Real brief. Vacation is over. We went from New York. We went to Dubai. We had these like really weird experiences there. Then we move on to the Maldives. We get to the Maldives. We had our many experiences there. It was very weird. It was very obvious that we were not from there. So we go there. Then we're exhausted. Like after this trip, you know how Rob is. Most people are probably like reading and relaxing. We were like at 6
It's time to reflect. It's time to reflect on the way back.
Yeah.
You know,
just
we've
chill.
got a layover in Dubai on the way back.
Yeah, long flight, whatever, all this stuff. So we get into the hotel and I was like, gosh, she's so excited to just like lay down. We had like 12 hours roughly in between going from Dubai to home. And so it's like, well, just chill. And Rob's like, oh, I've planned like a small activity. So I'm wearing a dress.
Okay.
I'm not going to tell you what's under the dress. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to tell you what's under the dress.
What was under the dress, Rob?
There was nothing under the dress. I was like low on underwear. The end of the trip, you're running low on
On
things.
your essentials.
On your essentials, you're running low. I didn't think it was going to be a problem. So I was like, okay. We get there. He's like, we're actually leaving in 15 minutes. There's a cab coming in 15
Not a cab.
minutes. A car.
Yeah, a car.
A car coming in 15 minutes. I was like, Rob, I don't even have my luggage yet. So I was like waiting for my yoga pants to arrive, waiting to just inside out some underwear or something like that. But no. So car comes, luggage never arrives. So now I'm just off on this adventure.
And this is
a
Dubai
little
now.
bit.
So like what you would maybe wear in like tropical Maldives. In Dubai, I will say is more on the liberal side
For that area.
for that region. But still, you know,
They probably
have
want
some-
me to be more dressed than I am.
Possibly,
I would
yeah.
say. So
They don't want to see your thatch through a sheer dress.
I don't know what a thatch is, but I don't think they wanted to see it either. It just depending on whatever it is.
I bet you could figure out what
I
a
think
thatch
now
is.
that I've said it out loud, I know, and I don't think they did.
I wasn't dressed perfectly either. I
No.
had a
Rob looked like
button-up Hawaiian shirt.
everyone wants to see your thatch, Rob.
you know who he looked like? He looked like that old guy from Ocean's 11 that like wears the
Elliot
gold
Gould?
chain, Elliot Gould,
Oh.
in his outfit. Just look what he was wearing. So anyway, we go. I was like, Rob, what is this? Like, are we grabbing dinner? What are like?
There you go, Tim. For visual reference, we'll post this on
Okay.
the Patreon as well too.
What are
Okay,
we?
Rob looks sexy and Carrie looks like a very ill-judged Halloween costume that gets his senator canceled after they've been like running for office.
This is true. So we get into the car and I'm just like, where are we going? And the nice gentleman that's driving us around was like, well, we should be back by about 10 p.m. It's like 2. I was like, what?
And I hope you've dressed
And I hope you dress appropriately for the
warm
desert.
for the desert because it was about 75 degrees in Dubai, so actually pretty chill, but or chilly, but the sun's out. The sun really beats down on you, so it feels warmer than that. But in the desert, it does drop a good like
1,000 degrees, 15,000
It gets pretty cold.
It's very cold.
And the iron in the sand that's out there like retains a lot of the cold air.
You
or something
remember
like that.
the
I remember,
tour.
Yeah, the guy
You
was really
remember
good.
The tour. He was good. So he starts telling us all the facts. He's like, are you guys listening back there? Because we were like,
He kept quizzing us.
He was quizzing us.
I didn't want to sound like a dumb American,
you
which
did.
is hard.
No, you did. He's like, do you know any
But
other surrounding territories?
Yeah, do you know all the 5 emirates that make up UAE? No, I don't know.
No, I
I
don't.
got Abu Dhabi.
He did. It was very impressive. So now I'm like mad, though. I'm in a mad mode because I'm grumpy tired and I'm not dressed appropriately and I don't know what we're doing, but we're not going to be home for 7 hours. So we take off, we get there, and it was like being in a episode of Crazy Rich Asians. It was like, oh, we're getting to our Land Rover experience now, and we were supposed to like pose by these Land Rovers and all of our outfits.
They had preserved from like the 50s when I don't know when Britain and like British Petroleum came to like I guess it was 70s. All of the British land or Range Rovers. Yeah, Range Rovers. 50s, like they have it meticulously
So they were
preserved.
at least like cool Range Rovers. It wasn't like you just went to a Land Rover dealership and stood in the lobby.
No, but people do that, I bet.
Yeah. Our car of transport was a brand new, beautiful Range Rover.
Your car of transport?
Yeah, the car that was transporting us to the desert was a beautiful brand
everybody
new Range
is
Rover.
in
Yeah,
those.
everybody's in the new. There's
I
like
just-
no old cars.
I find the phrase car of transport to feel like you translated it through at least 2 languages before it came to English.
So we did some posing in front of the cute old Range Rover.
We should. And we should also caveat at the beginning that there's a stranger that's in the car with us that we don't
It's not
know.
a stranger.
We'll
It's
get
not a
there.
He
We'll
was
get
a
there.
stranger.
We'll get there. So I'm like, again, I'm a little bit grumpy because I was like, Rob, I'm just so tired and I just don't want to do this. So we get in there and I was like not super chatty out of the gate. We're less chatty than usual with him, but he was also an American living in Hong Kong. So his name's Paul.
Hey, Paul.
He was out there.
This is the stranger or this is the driver?
This is the stranger.
Okay.
This is the stranger. And so anyway, we did chat. We went on the way. And then what came next? We did that. We drove through the desert for like an hour doing a tour through that. Then all of a sudden we emerge onto this like oasis and we get there and it's like a bird show, like a falcon
Peregrine
show.
Falcon show. And falcons are the like the mass animal, like the national animal of UAE.
Yeah.
They use it for hunting, or they used to use it for hunting.
Yeah. So we did that. And then the sun starts to go down. It's starting to get a little bit nippy. And I was like, I'm a little bit cold. And so Paul was very kind and offered some of his clothing from his luggage that I could borrow. But now you're in a pinch. You don't want to go commando in another man's fatigues, you know? What would you do in this situation?
You had told me you wore underwear.
I think maybe I did.
Okay. But still.
Paul,
A dress,
I was
yeah.
wearing underwear.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was. so just in case you're listening, Paul. But anyway, I'm now wearing a stranger's basketball shorts and a large sweatshirt over my dress. And they're like, it's time for the camel ride. I didn't put on the shorts until after the camel ride. So I did ride the camel.
You rode it bareback?
Bareback.
Is that
I barebacked.
I know it's
barebacked
appropriate
the
for
camel.
horses.
The candle?
Yeah.
The camel. I think I did. I don't know. I bet that's the first time that's ever happened in the history of camel
No,
riding.
I bet it's not.
You don't think so?
I'd be shocked if it was.
Oh, thank God. I felt really uncomfortable. So we did that. Super awkward, very uncomfortable. All the photos of it are like me trying to like hold my dress down.
These
to the
poor
sides.
Muslim gentlemen who like
hated
are
me.
probably trying to preserve their, dignities and their religious, beliefs. And Carrie's like, yeah, I'm going to need a little help so I don't flash you as I like spread eagle onto this, like kick my leg over for the camel. And so they like run and get her like a special step so that she doesn't do the Basic Instinct maneuver with Sharon Stone.
Which I made them uncomfortable as well because I was like, please don't look. For the benefit of you and me, just close your eyes while I do the swing. I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't know if it's going to be a back shot, a front shot. Who knows? So I just asked everybody around me to close their eyes. So we did the camel ride. It was very exposing. I've deleted all of the photos that apply to that. And then we went back and had a nice dinner afterwards. And
We
there was
invited
like,
Paul over.
We invited Paul over.
I was by this time we've been together for 12 days. So
and
Wearing his shorts.
God knows how much Paul has seen at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
So.
Paul's seen it all. So yeah, by the end, we had a nice dinner by the end.
What did you do with Paul after dinner?
I gave him his shorts back, but then I was sitting.
What did you
That's
do
a
before you
that's a
gave him back the
euphemism.
shorts?
Yeah.
I cannot tell you. This is again why I can never talk to Paul ever again. Like now, I've been in his shorts for many hours. I mean, even if best case scenario, it's not a good scenario. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like trying to like in the back of the car. It's like 10 p.m. I was just trying to take in how bad the situation was. It wasn't good. We won't be making eye contact again.
I gotta say, this was the most tame of the 3 stories. So I'm excited to possibly share the other two.
I'm still not clear how it ties into Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
It's like all the sand and all of the...
There is not a desert in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It is, in fact, unique in being the only Indiana Jones film of the original trilogy where there isn't a desert.
But also, they're wearing those really cool, robes. Like the robe outfits and stuff like that too. I think I saw Falcon in that movie. And the weird dinner. The dinner was kind of weird,
Okay. I still think you probably should have just gone with Raiders.
You think so? Oh
If
yeah.
you'd gone with Raiders, I would have picked Portrait of a Lady on Fire though, so you're probably better off.
Yeah,
I'm better off, yeah.
or Last Crusade, because doesn't what's his face? The really sweet professor friend. Marcus. Marcus get on
Brody.
and they slap
That's right,
the camel's
that's
butt.
right, that's
Or
right.
Is it a camel?
It's a camel.
It is a
There you
camel.
go.
It is a camel.
What a missed opportunity.
Gosh darn it. You're right. So that was actually a very positive, weird experience.
I feel a little robbed. I feel like I was promised a Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom-esque story, but I do appreciate the thought of you raw dogging a camel.
So what I will tell you is on the outtakes, you can listen later, and I will tell you the story of seeing Rob's self and persons through mesh underwear in a public forum. Yeah.
Oh man, don't we all have that story?
That's right. So more to come on that.
We also managed to catch quite a few movies with 2 15-hour flights, not including the connecting flights, 4-hour connecting flights. We watched a lot of movies, Tim, over the last 2 weeks. Probably still less than you did, but I think we watched. If you care, how many did? I think you might have outdone me.
I did.
I don't know if you counted.
Yeah, Rob just kept snoozing on the plane, and I was like, "These are good movies."
Like, I don't know what your plan is, Tim. If you ever travel overseas, like, would you want to adjust your body, in advance? Like, I was trying to get on the correct time right away, so I fast forwarded in my mind, like, okay, we're 8 hours ahead. I'm going to pretend it's breakfast, even though it's dinner. I'm going to get my sleep in now. And Carrie was just up all night drinking all of the champagne, free champagne that she could get her hands on.
No, I wasn't. No, I was.
Yeah.
But I didn't just have champagne. So don't make it seem
She also
like...
made me take the snacks and dump them into my backpack that were complimentary snacks.
Such good snacks.
They were very good snacks.
Yeah, I was stowing all that stuff away. They had like little jams and slippers. I was just packing it all away in my bags. It was a lot of freebies.
But how many movies would you say?
At least 10, 12.
Okay.
13.
It's got to, I've marked myself down for
5
13.
flights or 5 movies on each flight.
Okay. Plus you did a couple on the connecting flights.
Yeah.
So at least 10. How about you, Tim, in the last 2 weeks or so?
Last 2 weeks. I don't actually have the number in front of me. I'm going to sort of hunt that down. Probably though, you guys might have actually passed me because it has been a rough week for me. The semester's back in place. It is going to be a very just gross, nasty few months for me, and it's going to involve a lot of not watching as much as I am.
What's going to be gross and nasty about it?
Just the amount of work. It's just going to be an unpleasant workload. So I'm at.
Well, speaking of jet lag, I imagine too as a
Yeah, so I had a light 2 weeks. I only watched 15 movies.
Oh wow, very light.
Loser.
Well, your schedule gets flip flop too. You're used to having whatever day off or starting in the morning or the evening, and then I imagine every semester to have that change on you. That does it's a bit like jet lag.
And I am TAing the class that famously eats up your time with meetings this semester, and I won't say more than that because I don't want to besmirch anyone, but I will be on Zoom so much this semester.
You have a lot of needy students.
Needy professors.
Oh, professors. Sure.
They are. They always are.
And I don't like being on Zoom very much is the thing. So it's gonna be a rough few months. But yeah, still managed to scrounge up 15 movies. So I'm excited to talk about
Kara,
those.
you saw about 13 plus
Yeah.
of the ones that you watched. Which is the one you want to bring to the table?
I was debating between a couple because some of them were a little bit older, but I did catch The Father.
Okay, yes.
Which blew my
Up
mind.
movie, very peppy.
I avoided it for so long, and then it was just right in front of me, and I went for it. I regretted it, but at the same time, that was an amazing movie. So highly recommend that. How many stars did you give that?
How many stars did I give that? I gave that, I believe,
4.5, didn't you?
4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
That feels right. But love that. But the one I was going to bring today is Scream. Rob and I got to catch that in New York together, and it was the home.
There's
of
no better
a little
feeling
bit of
than
animosity. Yeah.
after dinner you do a walk home or walk back to the hotel, and you're trying to catch the movie. You're like, oh, the movie theater appears to be pretty close to the hotel. And then you find out, Tim, inside.
You told me this.
Inside the hotel.
This was the happiest I think I've ever seen you. To be like, I think there was something about you knowing that you were only like 200 steps from your bed afterwards that just gave you the biggest high I think you've ever had. He was very excited about it.
Pretty pumped about it.
So we caught Scream there, and I'm excited to talk about that.
All right, Tim, what are you bringing to the table?
So I'm going to actually bring a couple things to the table. First, I want to bring a Patreon film to the table. So one of our Patreons, James Harrington, who subscribed to our Palme d'Or tier, requested that I bring as a worth mentioning Full Metal Jacket. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. A film that I've seen, I've reviewed, I've talked about multiple times, but I think it's always a good film to bring back. And then I also do want to talk about a newer release, a film that is currently available for streaming that I think has gone a little bit underseen. It's a Netflix original called The House. And I want to bring it to
Is it the animated one?
It's the animated one.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear your review about that.
You will.
And tell me if I like it or not.
You won't.
Okay.
I'm also going to be doing a bit of a service from my point of view, at least, by bringing what I think is an underseen movie. I'm bringing Unhinged.
Oh.
Because I could not stop talking about Unhinged.
I forgot I've got to review that on Letterboxd. I got a really good one.
The amount of body movements in reaction on the plane to what was happening on screen. Like I was grabbing my face and jumping out of my seat because, I have so much to talk about. And it was underseen because it was like the first big theatrical movie, if you want to call it that, once theaters reopened. Mm-hmm. And I think nobody that didn't get butts in seats. Russell Crowe didn't get butts in seats for whatever reason, but I think it is criminally underseen and for whatever reason not like well reviewed. I don't think it's like a great piece of cinema, but it is entertaining as hell.
It's like watching Telephone Booth or a movie like that where you're just like glued to the TV or the screen or whatever the entire time, and then you walk away and you're kind of just like, what did I just watch? But you can't look away.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about that.
All right.
So why don't you start us off here with a little Scream?
So admittedly, Tim, I listened to the first 20 minutes of the Bride of AE podcast that you did with Brennan on Scream. So I don't actually know yet how you feel about the newest installment of it. So I'm excited to hear. But that said, I'm a huge Scream fan, meaning I've seen the first one, but loved it. Loved it so much. And so it's 25 years later. They're coming back. This is sort of a next installment of it. It's not a reboot. It's just sort of a next installment. This is the fifth, right?
That's correct.
Fifth Scream. So I was super, super excited. The mood was awesome. Rob and I had this lovely dinner. We were in such like chipper, peppy, like we forgot about our real lives mood while we were there. Went in, we were holding hands, we were embracing during it, we were laughing at all the right beats, watched it, walked out. I was feeling 10 steps even higher than we walked in. I was like, that was fun. It's energetic. I loved the nostalgia of like having, Courtney Cox come back and Dewey and a lot of like Neve Campbell is obviously back. Loved seeing them again. I thought, and it was making fun of itself, which I know Rob was like, oh, that's what they did on the first one, like making fun of scary movies. But at the same time, the humor felt fresh to me. I thought it was funny, light, a light murder, a light slasher film. And I really, really liked it. I walked out feeling really good, and Rob hated it.
Yeah, I felt very alone in my hatred. I called that. I was like, I bet Brennan's going to hate this too.
No,
Carrie,
and I was
wrong.
like, no.
You're wrong.
And I was like, you don't know him.
Yeah, because, and I guess I focused a lot on some plot details, which I shouldn't maybe have. But like, it really threw me for a loop. Like, why is one of the main characters like
don't spoil
working a bowling, like they're working in a bowling alley?
The bowling alley thing seemed like a very specific choice that didn't pay off, but it was also only in one scene. So
that's what I was going to say. But this is what I said. I was like, it's inconsequential. Why are you focusing on something so ridiculous?
It's called color.
Yeah,
you fill in with rich, vivid details.
Yeah. Okay. And you meet someone at, I don't know who's the manager in that relationship.
Again, who cares? Who cares?
I was really stuck on that.
I'm getting mad again. This is what he was saying.
You need to know who their manager was at their bowling alley.
I just don't understand. I don't understand the employment situation there. No one's at the bowling alley.
That's inconsequential. It's the middle of the day.
It's the middle of the day at a bowling. Who is there? If you have a problem, if you're there in the middle of the day.
Then for that,
that's probably why it wasn't a big deal for them to leave. because the manager was like, well, I don't know, I've got like 40 employees and 2 clients.
It's like my pet peeve when I walk into a Jamba Juice and there's like 10 employees in a Jamba Juice and you can't, but they're like all behind, like no one's actually doing any work.
The bowling alley is a front.
There you go.
For a money laundering.
I just feel like you're okay. Okay.
This is what I don't even. This is what he was saying to me after the movie was over, and it was just like raising my rage because I was like, I don't even remember the bowling alley scene. I don't even know what you're talking about.
This, Carrie, is how I felt. Remember when we did the Tenet, Christopher Nolan's Tenet, the like spoiler bit?
Yes.
And the first words out of Rob's mouth were like, why were they wearing those belt buckles or something like that?
And you're like, okay, a-hole. It's like nothing to do.
This is where I was. It's like, why? Why is that even remotely important to you?
And this is the exact reaction, like when we're walking then back our 200 feet to our hotel room.
I've got another one.
Okay, give it to me. Give it to me.
In the hospital, nobody works at that hospital. It's completely empty.
Well, that's slasher movie.
It's just a slasher movie, Rob.
All right.
It's just
I don't know.
It's
Again, I know I'm in the minority.
So maybe they took the Jamba Juice model and they finally understaffed because it's low at night.
Right.
Maybe they did appropriate
I mean, if there's
staffing.
one thing we've learned from the pandemic, it's that hospitals involve a great deal of just-in-time staffing and resource management, and that is a problem.
Perfectly planned. Yeah.
So it's commentary.
I thought the murders were awesome. That there's one. This isn't a spoiler to say that there's this epic neck murder that you're just like,
oh, the neck murder.
Yeah.
The neck murder is so good.
Yeah. It's so good. I like.
And turns out that's a practical effect. I thought for sure that was a CGI effect.
Really?
I've been informed that was a practical.
I love that
Really
even
good.
more. I love it even more. The cast. I know some people had little gripes about the cast, but again, I think the people that had gripes are just old people like us who have forgotten that we're old. Like, just get over it. Like, there's a different generation that's coming up that's younger.
Generation that likes bad acting.
Yeah, I didn't care for the acting. I didn't care for the humor. I actually found, I know
love
that
the
I
humor.
compare, we also watched There's Someone Inside the House. I found that to be funnier than Scream. I don't know if you agree, at least on that point.
See, and I've already forgotten that movie that you're talking about. Somewhere in this.
Another decent slasher movie.
Is it?
Netflix,
Okay.
Netflix original.
Well, I will say my reaction to Scream, if you would know, if you would either listen to the podcast or read the review that are both on your website, I liked it a whole lot. I don't even like the first Scream. Like I'm sort of notoriously someone who dislikes the original 1986 Scream, and I totally dug this film.
Tell me,
good time.
Same read as me, just like fun, light, like trying to like not take itself too seriously.
Well, none of the Screams take themselves very seriously. A lot of fun, some very smart choices. I did like some of the acting. I disliked some. I liked some. I thought the kills were really, really well staged, very brutal, like very just nasty death scenes in this film that I really admired, because we don't get nasty death scenes in American horror films anymore. So that made me happy. I thought it was just a a good time.
I didn't realize it was
Agreed.
the directing duo that did Ready or Not.
Did Ready or Not.
Okay. I prefer Ready or Not.
Oh yeah. I mean, I would say that I prefer Ready or Not to all 5 Scream films, but that's neither here nor there.
So if you've missed it and you don't agree with Rob often, which I assume is everybody, I would go out and check this out. That's my thoughts on Scream.
Good times.
Fair enough.
Times.
All right, Tim, tell us what you're going to talk about.
So I've got a couple. Like I said, first up, thanks to James, I want to share my thoughts on Full Metal Jacket with all of you. So Full Metal Jacket, as you may know, 1987, film by Stanley Kubrick, the second to last film of his career. It is his grand scale epic about the Vietnam War, sort of divided into 2 parts. First part finds a cluster of new recruits, new draftees to the Marines in basic training, where they are sort of given the one over by R. Lee Ermey, who at this point was a Marine Corps drill sergeant, who was hired just because Kubrick wanted that verisimilitude. He turned this into basically the launching pad for a fairly robust career of yelling at people. And so the first hour is all about basic training. The second hour follows a cluster of the Marines who survived basic training, and I mean that in a very literal sense, to Vietnam, where they just sort of make things horrible for themselves and others, and sort of focused around a character played by Matthew Modine, named Joker, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, Joker.
Oh, you've seen this, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So a film that I think gets a lot of stick from viewers for having a really phenomenal opening hour and a less phenomenal closing hour. I have never believed that. I always feel like, I mean, the opening hour is more unique. I think we have a lot of Vietnam movies. We have very few basic training movies. And certainly that opening hour is really incredible stuff. The basic training material is all filmed using these slightly wide lenses that make everything seem bulbous and sort of unreal, and the lighting is very flat and ugly in ways that are very, very focused. It's a really incredibly well shot film. Kubrick, who was a photographer before he became a director, so all of his films have really thoughtful photography. He uses a lot of white lighting and like overcast skies to give everything this kind of like glowing flat quality. Like it all feels very artificial and stagey in a way that kind of matches what he's doing with this material, which is basically how do men get turned into killing machines. And that's like the plot of the movie in a way. So we're watching just this long process of people being broken down and over and broken down, culminating in sort of it goes too far. And one character in basic training snaps basically and goes crazy and kills a couple people. And then there's just this complete jump. Like there's no plot link. It just all of a sudden we're in Vietnam and we're seeing some of the other trainees from basic training in country. And I think it's this really potent demonstration of like a before and after. The before is how did we turn, how did the U.S. military turn normal everyday Americans into these like soulless killing automata? And then part two is, so let's watch that happen. It's the effect. It's like, let's see this play out. And it's basically an hour of watching Marines just doing antisocial, vicious shit for an hour, done in this very like flashy kinetic style. So it never feels brutal. It never feels ugly. Like you're not just watching psychopaths be psychopaths. But I think one of the things that people do kind of miss about the film when they say, oh, the first hour is so good and the second hour is not, the second hour is the sort of payoff, right? It's like, we've seen what happens to these men. Now we see what they're doing to other people. And it's just really bleak nastiness. And I think it's a great anti-war film. I think it's one of the best, if not the single best Vietnam film. Although I think good Vietnam films are kind of hard to find. Actually, I don't think there's that many of them. But this case, it's just this really great, why were we there? What were we doing? Like, what good did we bring? We brought none. We just, went in and we killed a lot of people, and it was ugly and horrible. I think it's a great film. Really, really just very kinetic, very lively filmmaking, a lot of great music cues. As I said, really amazing photography. And that kind of makes all of this just like moral ugliness go down smoother, that it is very watchable. Like it's a very energetic piece of filmmaking. And one of the only Stanley Kubrick films of his late career that's under 2 hours long. It's like an hour and 57 minutes long. So it's even in that sense, it sort of goes down easier than like Eyes Wide Shut or Barry Lyndon do.
You're giving me like the idea to maybe give that second half another shot, because from memory, like all I remember is the first half and then some lines maybe like that come like that have made it into pop culture references from the second half. But plot wise, I can't remember anything about the second half. But that first half has been ingrained. I think it'll break you, Care.
Right now, I'll tell you what I have in my mind, and you can tell me if I'm right. So right now, I have Good Morning Vietnam meets G.I. Jane. Is that like an actual assessment? Is that a hot take?
That would be a hot take.
It would be very, very hot if you continued to hold it after you saw the movie. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Just like
it's more like Apocalypse Now meets.
I haven't seen that one.
A Godard film.
Okay. Yeah. Now you're not selling me as much.
Watching Vincent D'Onofrio descend, and you don't like bullying, Care?
I don't like bullying.
I have a very hard time imagining you enjoying this movie, Care.
Yeah. See, I actually kind of was into it before, but yeah, I don't like a bully. But is it real bullying? Like
yes.
Okay.
It's the hazing that one would get kind of for being maybe an inadequate soldier for whatever reason.
Oh, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Who is the snapper? Is that somebody of note?
The snapper?
The snapper. You said the
D'Onofrio.
D'Onofrio. I don't know who that is. Is that
you would know him?
I would know him if I saw him. Give me another thing that he's in real quick.
He's Kingpin in the movies recently.
Oh, the big guy. The big guy. The big bald guy. Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, and so I can see him snapping. And I bet he's not nice in the movie.
He's put upon.
Okay.
Yeah, you feel for you kind of feel.
Oh,
for
there
him
is an empathy thing
because
too.
he's the one who's being.
Oh,
bullied.
Yeah. Gosh, I wouldn't want to bully him.
Well, you are not Drill Sergeant Arlie Ermey.
That's true. I'm a little bit tempted, but
and I'm kind of like I'm just getting nostalgia. I kind of want to go put this.
I mean, I there's no Kubrick film that I could just like put on anytime because I'm always in the mood because they're all pretty heavy and like they're very tough. That is not a Kubrick film. at all.
No, it's not The Godfather you're thinking about. It's a different one.
That being said, if I had like this and A Clockwork Orange and Barry Lyndon and Eyes Wide Shut all lined up, I might still watch Eyes Wide Shut because it's not quite as brutal as this, but like I would certainly be able to throw this on more readily than I would be able to throw on Clockwork Orange.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's a tough movie.
What do you want to do? You want to go to your next one, Tim? Or you want me to break it up?
Let me just quickly, because this is more in the nature of a PSA. So this film, The House, which premiered on Netflix a couple weeks back, stop motion anthology, 3 parts. The first part is directed by the filmmaking duo of, I'm going to butcher their names, I apologize.
I can help you if you want.
Emma DeSwaif and Mark James Rolls. There are a...
It's Rolze.
No.
Ooh, it's so beautiful. I'm looking at stills.
Yeah, so these 2 filmmakers who do stop motion animation using woolen puppets. Second part is by Nikki Lindroth von Baar, who, if you're subscribed to the Criterion Channel, I believe all of her extant short films are currently on the Criterion Channel. And then the third part by a filmmaker named Paloma Beza, who I've never heard of her before. She is an actress by trade, but she occasionally dabbles in stop motion. So it's 3 stop motion animated sequences. The Netflix description leans heavily on its 3 stories set at different time periods in the same house, like this strange, mysterious house. I don't think that's the right way to go into it. Like they're not doing anything with that. Like it's not like we're watching the history of the house, but we are seeing these 3 stories about what happens inside a house. And the stories are all kind of united around the idea of it's bad when you over-identify with a house as a place that like, it's about people basically doing renovations to the house. Like all 3 stories ultimately are about renovations to a house, and how when you become too obsessed with the material qualities of your house, it can sort of lead you to be blind to, well, what is the house for? The house is where you live with the people you love. The house is where you sort of...
This is a movie for you, Rob.
I was going to say, it feels very much, Rob, like you would feel seen in a bad way by this movie.
Can I ask you something very important to the liking, the likelihood that I will like this movie? Do they do sort of a double meaning where there are actually 3 stories in the house?
I think it is only a 2-story house.
I'm never watching this.
I can't recall.
It's too far away.
But so the first story is about this family, 2 parents, 2 children. The father it's Victorian England. Father is sort of financially a fuck up, and he's given this opportunity to live in a house, and it's kind of a Faustian situation where he and his wife agree to move into this house, and it turns out that they sort of get absorbed by its dark energies while their daughter is trying to make them remember, like, no, be with me and my sister. And like it's basically very much about how like obsession with making a perfect house leads the parents to kind of forget that they even have children. Second part is about a anthropomorphic rat who is trying to stage the house.
Give me the definition of that word real quick.
Human shaped.
Oh, okay.
Trying to like stage the house for a real estate showing, and he gets obsessed with making it perfect and clean, and it goes sort of terribly for him. And then the third part is about this young cat, anthropomorphic cat, who wants to freshen up the house so she can bring in new tenants, but the existing tenants keep trying to gently remind her like the house is currently in the middle of an apocalyptic flood. It's going to be destroyed. She's wasting her time, and she refuses to see that. They're all horror tinged, especially the first 2. Especially the second one. The second one ends in just this like deeply unsettling moment of like body horror involving the rat. But so they're all kind of spooky. The third one less so. They're very dreamy. Like they have that sort of like logic of like you're asleep and you're meandering through the space that makes perfect sense while you're sleeping, but then when you wake up and you try to reconstruct it, it makes absolutely no sense. I had a phenomenal time. 3 really, really great. Well, 4 directors, 2 directors and 1 pair. Really talented animators all. I've had great respect for Emma DeSwaif and Mark James Rolls for a while. I've only seen one of Nikki Lindroth von Baar's films, but I really loved it. Paloma Beza is new to me. I thought her sequence was really good. So really terrific stop motion animation, really interesting, spooky, sort of Twilight Zone-esque stories.
And is there a through line of the same moral across all the stories, or do they have individual morals?
They're all sort of about don't identify with the building you live in.
Got it.
Your house should be the place where you are safe and your family is safe. You shouldn't care too much about the trappings of your house.
I see. Maybe we should watch this.
I don't think it's for you, Care. I think
Really?
you'll be very.
It's pretty dark.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could use somebody to tell me that I shouldn't worry about my house.
I'm thinking of stop motion horror, like, and I think it's light horror, like Coraline and Frankenweenie. Like you're saying, this goes like.
This is like R-rated Coraline. Actually, would not be a bad way to think about it.
So Haunting of Hill House.
You know, I love that.
But okay.
But with wool puppets.
Yeah, I'm
I
a
love
little
wool
concerned
puppets.
about what happens to the mouse for you.
Oh, well, you know,
the
I saw.
the mouse is not a sympathetic character.
Oh, okay. So yeah, he gets what's coming to him.
And Tim, I want to tell you one other thing. I saw Pig, and I wasn't that sad.
Okay.
So maybe I'll be okay
Maybe
with
you
this.
just have a calloused heart.
That's what I think might be happening. I don't even know. So I might give this a try.
Pig made me sad.
I know.
That made me sad.
It's-
I love
Now
that.
I'm
That's a
sad.
good
Now I'm
movie.
sad because I
Good
see you
shit.
guys are sad.
It's on Netflix. Netflix is weirdly calling this a special, not a movie. IMDb is weirdly calling this a TV series, not a movie. It's a movie. It's a
I
97-minute movie.
would you say this movie will qualify as a potential, best of type of movie?
It depends. Like my best of lists tend to outlaw streaming only, and it is streaming only.
Okay.
But we'll,
Are you talking about it for ourselves or for the?
I'm
like,
comparing
award
it to
season?
the crap you guys gave me for the Friends reunion
Oh, I see what you're doing.
because this is like a TV thing.
oh no, this is clearly much more of an actual work of
It's
cinema.
almost like an anthology.
Yeah.
Like,
It's an anthology film.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
a straight up anthology
All
film.
right. I might give it a try.
But to
just
be clear,
do it.
I'm not counting it for my 2022 best stuff because
Okay.
I don't think it meets my
It doesn't
minimum
qualify.
threshold.
All right. Well, and it's only 4 stars, so we'll see. Speaking of 4
All
stars,
right,
Rob,
you're gonna have to. You all have to go back to your letterbox and adjust your best of ratings for 2020 because Unhinged, y'all.
Tim will not
Unhinged.
like this movie at all.
I've seen this movie.
Oh, you
You've
did?
seen this
I've
movie.
reviewed this movie. There's a review of this movie on our site.
Holy crap!
What did you give it?
5 stars.
2 stars.
Yeah.
God damn it!
I knew that was going to be it.
Well, it's directed by Derek Borte, who the only other movie that I recognize on his list is The Joneses, which again another underseen. Like I thought The Joneses is pretty solid with Demi Moore and Boulder,
Oh, yeah.
like on his name.
Duchovny.
Yeah, Duchovny. I kind of want to talk about that now. But anyway, I'll save that for another day. The Joneses is a pretty sweet plot. But Unhinged follows Russell Crowe, who's not looking his best.
As long as he's feeling good, that's all I care
good
about.
about
I think
himself.
Russell Crowe arriving at middle-aged bloat has been a very useful development for his ability to branch into more interesting performances.
And this is one of them. I mean, he brings it in this role as the aforementioned unhinged person. The movie starts off with a cold open of him coming in, and I think it's because it's in the first minute is killing someone with a hammer, like breaking down the door with a hammer, and then like
It's not a spoiler.
bludgeoning.
The first 30 seconds, and then
First 30
burns
seconds.
that place down.
And the movie also does a whole setup about how our society is kind of like falling apart and like becoming more rage filled, which I immediately identified with all of those. Like I know it's hitting you over the head with that messaging, but because I live in that space, like I really believe it. Like,
do you daydream about killing people with a hammer?
no, I especially, and this is really filmed pre-COVID, I feel like there is this rage built inside of people right now because we're all trying to be on our best behavior and like following rules and things like that. I think anybody can snap at any moment.
Oh, absolutely.
And being pushed.
I think about killing people with a hammer. I'm thinking about it right now, actually.
But
Tell us more.
coupled with the mom recently divorced mom, Karen Pistorius, which I haven't seen her in anything either prior to this. I thought she gave a good performance. She's a bit absent-minded. She's got a lot going on. Like you kind
Not
of.
absent-minded, Rob. You just like you said.
I saw Carrie in this character.
She's got a lot
She's got just a
going
lot on
on.
her plate.
Yeah.
Kind
of a deadbeat
like
dad.
a little bit of a deadbeat husband or divorce, or they're going through a divorce. But yeah, she oversleeps. She, always
She's tired.
takes
Yeah.
her son late
Got a lot
to
of shit
school.
doing. Yeah.
So they're in a rush to try to get to school, and she passes someone, gives them an extended honk rather than the courteous honk.
So this is where it's like I don't know, because I don't know who does the long honk. It was on her for that. You should do.
She deserves everything.
I just want to say,
courtesy
give
beep.
someone an extended honk does not feel like something you do while you're driving a car.
Can I? I've actually only honked my horn, and it was a beep beep. It was
Every
just a
time
beep,
the
beep.
word honk is coming up in conversation right now, I'm seeing people just like yanking their junk.
Oh, is it called honking?
for sure.
That's one
No,
of the
it's not.
many euphemisms for tugging your pud. Yes.
I'm going to Google that later, but I think that's just you that feels that way. But Yeah, she shouldn't have done the extended honk.
Yeah, she was in a bad mood. Again, this is everybody's like
Everyone's in a
on the
mood.
edge.
Yeah.
She is not in a good mood. She's already a teeny bit road ragey.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
so.
yeah.
She, in fact, as she passes the person, like the truck pulls up next to her, and he does the roll your window down.
I would,
kind of point to the kid. And the kid does, and then what the movie does is like it's like everything that
That's my worst fear.
everything that's your worst fear happens. The mom's like, roll up your window, and then like the car's a piece of shit, so he can't like, oh mom, the window's stuck. So now they've rolled down the window and and like Russell Crowe is having this conversation now of like, hey, I know you didn't mean that back there. Like you would, mom should have given the courteous honk, the beep, beep, beep. But like,
no, it's not 3. It's
I
two.
get,
Two
so,
beeps.
as long as, let me apologize. I've been having a bit of a bad day, kind of a thing. And she's not even looking at him, not even making eye contact.
Yeah.
And then
that's on her too.
Yeah. Also, like she was escalating the situation for sure.
On the other hand, if some weirdo wants to like talk to you while you're both in a car, that I would not make eye contact.
I know, but just apologize. So he's like, so I'll apologize to you if you apologize to me.
Oh, you're giving me the chills.
And she's like, I don't think I have anything to apologize for. And she's like, you want to know what a bad day is? Like,
I'll show you a bad day.
Yeah, he shows you a bad day.
Yeah.
And then he makes it the movie's mission, the rest of the movie, in escalating fashion, in ways that are so, I think, so
it's so
creative
brutal.
that take it there. If you love slasher movies and you love cool kills, like this is the movie to be inspired, I guess, because I did not think my mental capacity did not go there for certain, like, I was like, oh, how's this scene going to resolve? And then it just keeps,
It's worse.
It goes
It just
worse
gets
than I
worse.
could have imagined for that situation. Like I could not imagine a worse situation.
The funny thing is the entire time, so Rob watched it first and I watched it on the return flight. Rob's like, this is exactly what would happen to you. So then I had that lens watching it.
Well, because this is another movie, which
I would have never done the
a
long
good
beat.
slasher movie, or I guess depending on your preference of slasher movies, it's when the main character is actually doing the right thing.
Right.
And in this case, the main character, I feel is doing like making the right choices to try to get to safety.
Yeah.
But it's like not working. Like,
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of fun for me and was unexpected. And I think that's the reason why I gave it such a high rating. But it's on Showtime now. You can click through our Amazon banner and subscribe to Showtime, get that 7-day free trial and cancel if you'd like.
It's also on Prime.
Oh, is this on Prime?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
According to what I got.
All right.
I will just say, I'm glad you loved this. For me, I think there were 2 things this movie needed to do that would have given it a full extra star for me. I did not like Karen Pistorius.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, I think it's not that I disliked her per se. I think she just couldn't hold the screen against Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe is
so much
he's
charisma.
big.
Yeah.
He's just, well, literally, but he's holding nothing back. He's having a really good time playing just a big campy villain. And I think she just can't hold her own against that. I also really, really wish they had not opened with the scene of him killing someone with a hammer, because they just started 100%. And like right from the beginning, it's like, oh, this is a crazy dude who will kill you with a hammer. So where you're saying like, you can sort of see, should she have had the extended honk? Should she have just apologized? None of that was in my brain, because I was like, dude, this dude kills people with hammers. Like it's already escalated too far for me by the time he gets the extended honk.
Interesting. Yeah. It's kind of like, I always think about Passengers for some reason, of like, if you recut Passengers and just moved one scene or like a series of scenes to a different place, how much better like that movie would be. I'd be curious to see, like, if you didn't know, I mean, going in that he's unhinged because of the nature of the movie, but yeah, if you save that like explicit, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that
The
would.
only reason that I kind of disagree with Tim though is I think it kept it at that level. So like, yes, if you started with that, it didn't back down. So if you did that and then it just became like, an hour of just like character building and whatever, then yes. But in this case, it was at 100 and then it stayed.
I'm saying
at
literally do nothing other than not have the pre-title scene.
Yeah.
Like literally just go right into start with Karen Pistorius. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting.
It's good. I do think it's worth checking out though.
All right. Well, hey, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Remember, you can find more details about all the movies we watched. Apparently more on the website than I realized. AlternateEnding.com. That's AlternateEnding.com. Before we head to our break, you might be wondering about ways to support the show. Patreon. Get early access and exclusive content. Make us watch a movie. Pick your own episode topic and more from our Patreon site. Just like James Harrington did with the Palme d'Or. We also have a new subscriber, Denise Everett, who's joined at our Razzie Award level.
Thank you, Denise.
Which entitles her also to movie trivia, bad movie night. We just had movie trivia this weekend.
Hearing Carrie's outtake about what sordid things she did in Dubai.
Oh, the nudity was in the Maldives.
There was nudity in Dubai.
Oh, was there?
Just in our
Sounded like
hotel
you were
room.
humping a camel.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I guess it's everywhere.
And then Tim Bellina, you are undefeated in when you're
No.
when you're fully
I've been
healthy.
defeated twice,
When you're fully healthy.
but that we're not going to make excuses.
Quiche isn't an excuse.
Yes. No, but it was a good round. I cracked the top 5, which much to the dismay
know,
of
Rob.
everybody else. Just
We
want to
know.
let you know. Just
You
want
know
to
what? I got second to last
I
place.
don't care who's in the top 5 as long as I'm number 1.
Yep.
I got second to last place, but I think somebody dropped
Oh yeah, I think they hung up a little
early.
early.
So I did get
That
second.
was a
to
great
last, which
turnout.
is
We
good,
welcome
yeah.
everybody at our Razzie Award level and up to join. And yeah, we got a watch party coming up. We're trying to alternate each month in doing those. Also celebrating their anniversaries in January, Kelly Barnes, Matthew Blackwell at our Sundance Grand Jury prize level, Kevin Riggle at our Critics' Choice level, and then Jack Jivers at our Oscar level. Oh, and Not Fenimore as well at our Oscar level as well.
Wowzers.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, Care. I know we had some stuff hung over in the.
It's been
in
lingering.
Tim's sack.
It's
Yeah,
been festering in there a bit.
Yeah.
Got some blue balls.
Yeah.
Sack.
That's too much. That's too much. I went big with festering, and then you went bigger. And
I mean,
here we are.
you talked about the time that you rubbed your cooter over a camel. So I don't know.
was
There
a
was
mat.
thatch on thatch.
There was a mat. There was like it wasn't directly on the camel, thankfully. There was like a nice blanket.
I do not need to hear about your trimming.
I'm going
situation.
to.
They did say that they thoroughly, and they looked very clean. They were
They
very
did.
clean camels.
Not anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Gross. So gross. So gross. Delete that for sure, please. And sorry again, Paul, about your shorts. But anyway, so I do have something in Tim's sack, and I'm probably going to butcher it. So in advance, dear alternate ending, I have a question for Tim's sack. Autocorrect wants me to change it to about Tim's sack. There's your opening for a double entendre. So recently, I was compiling a list of French animated films.
On the subject of about Tim Sack, I want to say I did get a nice new body trimmer for Christmas. So it's been nice. and smooth.
What's the brand?
Oh boy.
I don't know offhand.
I'm a big Philips Norelco.
I think it was. I think it
Okay.
was Philips Norelco.
Yeah, I like that body trim.
So been keeping it smooth and sleek.
Very nice.
So that's what's about Tim Sack.
Okay, I'm not
I
going to
still
ask the question.
I still get nicks, no matter how good of a. Every once in a while, I get the nick on the nut.
That's not a place you want to get a nick.
It stings bad.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's tender and thin
Very
skin.
thin skin. Yeah.
So this is the part. This is the part that I want you to cut out, but I don't want to lose the thought.
Well, when you shave, you use a brand new razor.
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just make
Unless Carrie's been using my razors for her pits,
I
like
do
she
do
does
that a
sometimes,
lot.
and then like I find out after the fact when I get some sort of weird,
A rogue.
rash or something down there.
So here's the question that I do have that I want you to seriously delete. So timestamp this. But like, why nothing grows there? Why would you have to shave that? There's no. That's.
What do you mean nothing grows there?
There's
Nothing grows there because he's so assiduous about keeping it shaved.
No, there's no. You don't grow anything on that actual part.
Oh yeah.
you do.
Oh,
No,
yes.
you don't.
Oh,
You
yes.
do.
I've
Yeah.
seen one before, and you
You've
don't.
Yeah, no, then I don't know what you've seen, but good for them.
You're saying on the surface of the.
Yes.
On both the shaft and the
testicle.
No,
the
you
saggy part.
don't.
Yes.
For sure.
Not like all the way up. It's not like
No.
a werewolf.
Shaft hair.
Oh yeah, there
Yes,
is.
there is.
Yeah.
No, there's not.
Yeah, there is.
I've seen. I've seen more than one. No. I don't know. I didn't mean more than one. I was gonna. What I mean to say, I'm feeling very warm right now. What I meant to say is,
She's seen one more
I've
than one
seen
time.
one more than one time. Is what I meant to
Right.
say. And
So I need to check in with your dad on what he's doing because I don't know what's going on.
well, I'm gonna Google this later too. We'll get back to that.
But no, shaft hair is a thing. Rob,
Okay.
if you delete this, I'm never doing this another episode again.
Please. Again, lots of people that I know in real life are listening. To
Lots
this.
of people that I know in real life are listening to this, and they'll get a kick out of it.
Okay.
So we thought we had something in Tim's sack. We apparently do not because of Carrie's administrative skills.
So now.
So onward to Amazon.
So now it's just a
Sorry.
dry cum.
Sorry.
So that's not fun at all.
I don't know what that means either, but I am just all kinds
but
of
if you
warm right now.
if you do want to send in a question,
but if you
So
do,
what it does mean is a gentleman can have orgasm without producing seminal fluids.
I don't think that's true, but
Oh, it's very true. You probably don't know this because your husband would need to have marital relations with you twice in one evening.
Sure.
But if that ever happens, if I will say though, Rob, you let me have a sample of a product that you purchased.
Oh my
I
gosh!
think you purchased
All
it legally.
yes, it was legally
Tim,
procured.
don't tell the story, please. Please don't tell the
It
story.
worked wonders.
Had it on my
Please don't.
birthday.
Don't tell the story.
It was like I was 18 years old again.
Okay, we get it.
I
We know
got
what that
hard
means.
multiple times and
Okay.
came multiple times. It was very nice. Thank you.
awesome.
Thank you for that. It made me feel good. So Delta 8 gummies, everybody. If you're
I
having
have got
if
to
you're
go.
if you're having the kind of issues with
That
your
Tim has.
functioning of your malehood,
And Carrie was
I
worried.
recommend it.
Carrie was
not that I'm
worried.
having issues, but I am 40.
Yeah,
so
Carrie
this
was
is not-
worried that we were going to have issues advertising ED. Like we're thanks to all you listeners out
by
there.
the way, if we do
Yeah.
start doing native advertising about tampons, I have some really good tampon material.
Mm-hmm. Really?
I've been workshopping it.
I feel like you're just as familiar with those as I am about ED. So that's good.
I feel like I'm way more comfortable talking about tampons than you're talking about ED.
I think you are as well. So I will.
I really hope we get a tampon ad because
That'd be
I'll
amazing.
be really sad if I don't get to use this material.
I have a lot of good stories about those too, though.
Okay,
so
sure.
I can help. I can lean in there. But yeah, if you have a question for Alternate Ending, you can submit those questions to contact@alternateending.com.
Also want to thank all of our listeners who support the show and make their Amazon purchases through our site. Doing is easy. Just go to our website, alternateending.com, click on our Amazon banner, and seamlessly go about your purchases. All proceeds go to making our show better. We're a little bit behind on Amazon purchases, so playing little catch-up. So if you don't hear your read in this episode, we will be catching up over the next couple episodes. So since our last episode, here were the things that were purchased. On books and textbook, we had a gift for Sophie. Business and industrial supplies, a little Loctite super glue, Ultra Gel,
We need that.
maybe for wounds. Do you know that?
Can you use
Oh, yeah.
super glue on
That's
those?
a thing.
Yeah, if you get stabbed.
I would personally go to a hospital, but people do. Yes.
Yeah.
Have you ever been stabbed?
No, that seems very unpleasant.
I've stabbed myself before
Like how deep?
with a stapler.
No, that's not.
I once
stab.
was working in a little craft project with like wire, and I put it accidentally through my fingertip, and it didn't come through my finger, but I could see like the little black dot at the end of the wire, like on the opposite side of my finger.
Oh,
So that's
Yeah.
closest I've ever come to being
you
stabbed.
did that intentionally?
No,
I think
Oh.
any
Why would I
type
do that
of
intentionally?
I mean, I intentionally stapled myself
any type of abdominal or chest area stabbing would be just the worst.
just because
the
you have
worst.
such a nice
It
chest.
would be
No,
bad.
I just
'Cause you would die.
Like even like
Oh.
a 3-inch blade or something
just a
small
little
like that.
one.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, I would need that Loctite.
I mean, I'll do you one up. I wouldn't even want to get stabbed in my thigh or buttocks. I just don't want to get stabbed at all.
okay, that
All
is
right,
one
to
better.
each their own.
We also had, as some clothing and accessories, a behind the head earmuff.
You
don't mess up
those.
the head or the hair. You
Yeah,
know, that's
I like
a little
those.
bit better.
That's the kind of earmuff I prefer.
Yeah, I do too.
Agreed.
Some boxer briefs were purchased as well. Long mesh shorts with pockets.
Packets.
Oh, is that what you were
Packets.
wearing in Dubai?
There were some.
She said something about mesh.
Oh gosh,
yeah.
it's so gross.
Oh, it's a good story.
It's burned in my memory.
So so rather than going fully naked on the massage table, they actually gave us like little
Modesty.
modesty. Yes, like,
it's not that modest
briefs.
though. Yeah.
Yes.
It's more modest than being naked.
I want to tell you.
Or is it one of those things where like you're so close to being naked that it somewhat makes
It's
it feel-
worse.
It's like
It's
it's even
worse.
more naked
It's
than
kind
so
of
much worse.
It's kind of pointless. Yeah,
All
it is
right.
pointless because it's brief on the front, but then was it like a bikini thing on the back?
No, Rob.
No,
It
I don't
wasn't,
remember.
no. Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. I saw.
So
it.
anyway, more on
Yeah,
that.
more on
More on
that
that.
later. Yeah.
We also had some bee cooling relief for migraine soft gel sheets.
Oh, nice.
Not sure how that.
My mother
maybe
uses
for
those.
your-
That might actually very well be her purchase.
Very good.
They are adhesive, and you put them on your skin, and there's like a menthol element, so it sort of cools.
Okay. I could. Yeah, I haven't
get
had
hot at night.
I haven't had a migraine in a long time. So, but I should have these on the ready. Also had some tall kitchen drawstring trash bags purchased. A quilting seam roller, wallpaper
I
roller
know
with
what that
easy to
is.
grip handle for quilting, sewing, print. A craft and clay jewelry dish making kit for kids and tweens.
Nice.
On Kindle ebooks, we had a large discussion about this on the discourse. We don't plug the discourse enough too. Is like people should join if you're interested in being part of the not toxic maybe film Twitter community, and you want like a nice healthy supportive place.
I'm doing what I can to make sure that the Discord is toxic.
You really do. Whenever you pop in there,
Whenever I pop
try
in,
to raise hell.
I say two terrible things, and then I come back like a month later. It's good.
But Beowulf was, I think, brought up a bit there, and I think that might have sparked a little interest because
I should go into the Discord. I've actually been meaning to start reading Beowulf.
there was a new translation purchased, and then a translation and commentary together with some spells, some Select spells. I don't know what those
Yeah.
are. We also had some fridge storage containers with
Oh, I
dripping
love
trays.
those. We need the drip trays though.
What are those for?
Your meats are always leaking.
I'm vegetarian now.
Oh yeah.
Once you swim with the
Don't.
fish,
That's
then.
different story.
Once you
Different
swim
story.
with the
Outtake
fish.
story.
We also had Care Bear's Tender Heart stuffed animal. Tender Heart.
Oh, do you know
Is
which one you
Tenderheart
are?
the lion?
No.
Oh, yeah, I think it is.
Tender Heart Care Bear?
Yeah.
Oh,
the
there's
one.
one with a heart on its chest.
Oh, it's just the heart chested
yeah.
one?
Tim's fact checking me,
okay.
and I'm sure I'm wrong.
Also had a dream catcher purchased. Do-it-yourself string art as well.
I like string art.
Crystal growing experiment.
Nope,
kit.
Tenderheart is a bear.
I told.
Okay. Is it pink?
No, he's the bronze bear with a red heart.
The red heart.
Oh, sure.
I have his
Is that the main
figurine.
character?
I don't think there's a main
lots of
character.
them.
They're an ensemble.
They're an ensemble, yes.
Okay. Barbie pediatrician set. Future
Braveheart is the lion.
Braveheart. That's what it is.
I don't know why you guys would make that mistake.
I guess they're all called something heart, right?
Are they?
I don't know.
No, because isn't there like a grumpy Care Bear?
There is.
Grumpy heart?
It's cloudy.
Oh,
it's
sure.
It's got a
the rain
cloud.
That's
Yeah.
right. Video on demand. We
Gosh, I
had
feel like an expert.
ADBC, a rock opera. Oh, someone rented Pig on demand.
Did they change it to the Truffle Hunter, or is it still
That's
Pig?
like, I think, the international title.
But there's
'cause
also another Truffle Hunter.
there was the Truffle Hunters,
Right.
which is
Different.
a different movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be confused.
Then on Blu-ray and DVD, I know this one's on Blu-ray. Someone got Shawscope Volume 1. I'm probably mispronouncing that. It's the 8-disc limited edition.
Fancy! Yeah, it's a cool box set.
What is it?
It's kung fu movies from the 70s.
Very cool. Also on Collector's Edition 4K, someone got No Time to Die. One of my best films.
That's the one that we
of
just
the year.
watched, right?
That's the
Most recent one, right? Yeah.
And when we get back, our bottom 5 of 2021 worst films. And welcome back to Alternating. We're talking about our worst 5 movies of 2021. This was a crowd favorite, crowd request. We've never done one of. Oh, we've done a bottom 5 of all time, but not for the year, have we?
Man, I don't know.
I don't think we have, but it feels like a huge miss.
People were asking, like, they almost would prefer this to our top. So we were going to do top anticipated of the upcoming spring time frame, like pre-summer.
No one cares about that.
I still kind of want to
I know
do
you
it.
care about that,
Still
but you're
wanna
the
do it.
only
There's a
one.
lot of good movies coming out.
There's not even enough for me to have made a top 5 when we were including February 4th, which had 2 of my top 5.
Oh no!
See,
So I think all ended up well here. So we're doing our worst. What qualifies for you, Kara? How did you go about picking your worst?
So what I did was I thought back to every movie that I've seen and then thought, gosh, what were the 5 worst?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting process.
Interesting. This is very tactical. And then
But did you? So I think it's easy to pick on maybe like low budget films. Were you like objective in saying like it's just the worst of the worst,
Just
or did
my
you say
worst
like
experience.
like big movie? Like did you keep it to
No,
theatrical?
that's a good
or-
question. I just left it at like, what was the worst thing? It could be small too. These 5 I actively left angry after seeing them. And then just for fun, I stalked Tim's letterbox a little bit just to be like, where's the intersection of like something that he loved from last year that might be something that I hated. And I think both of us have pretty good reads. I don't think there's going to be too much contention.
How about you, Tim? What was your approach?
So I actually did have a hell of a time trying to figure out what is the level that a film has to acquire. Like how big does it have to be? I did not want to just pick on low-hanging fruit, like teeny tiny films that nobody saw, but I just, we had a pandemic, and the pandemic was worse certainly in the first half of 2021. So not a lot of theatrical releases, whole lot of VOD releases, whole lot of direct to streaming, and just because the sort of nature of society sort of crammed all of these VOD films more or less onto the same level as like actual big studio films, is that therefore fair to say, oh, these VOD films sucked? I don't think so. So I have limited my list, not all big films, not all big studio films, but I've limited my list to things that got a theatrical release and generated money from that theatrical release. So no direct to streaming here, no VOD films that got like a sort of cursory nod of a release that only lasted for 1 week and generated like $20,000. These are all films that broke $100,000 at least at the box office.
Got it. I wasn't it's very generous of you. I was not as generous because there was one film on my list that was just so bad. And I like, there's no saving grace to say like, well, if it would have had the, studios, big studios behind it. Otherwise, I'm with you. Like I also tended to be less favorable towards ones that had a lot of money thrown at it and had theatrical or bigger theatrical or
to
big
be fair,
video on
when I
demand
do my top 10 worst for my big year-end blog post, I'll be including those littler films. I'm just saying for here, it just seemed it doesn't seem
petty.
sporting.
Yeah, it's not
seemed
sporting.
mean.
Yeah. I included it because if you have a chance to see this, it is the worst kind of bad. It's the kind of, well, I actually think it possibly could, if I would have continued with it, it could have been maybe a good bad
you
movie.
can't count it if you didn't finish it.
Oh, Tim, I don't know.
Which
okay.
movie? Is it
get
on
to
your list?
It's on my list.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
We'll get to
okay.
it. We'll get to it.
I don't even know where you're going, but I'm gonna
You
I'm gonna
didn't
track
watch it with
you.
me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So do I just start with my number 5?
To start with your number 5.
Okay, I struggled a little bit on this one. I had a little bit of a tie, but I think just in the moment right now, it's come to me on which one I want to choose. This movie made me actively mad. I went in with high expectations. There's a huge budget around it. There's a film that this director did that Tim found highly offensive, that now I also find highly offensive after reading Tim's review. This is a movie by Chloe Zhao, and this is the movie Eternals.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right.
I also didn't like it. Our kids are mad at us for not like they never
have no
haven't seen
taste.
it, but
They don't know anything.
They're not sure. They don't understand how we could not like.
They love everything.
they like
Well,
everything.
because women shouldn't direct movies. Just explain that to them.
This is obvious. Yeah, I remember that Agnes lady. She wasn't very good either. You know, that was just no one's even gonna like say anything back.
Varda.
Gosh. Well,
I
now
see
I
what
feel
you're
bad
saying.
about it because I think she's quite lovely.
I mean, you were trying to get a rise out of me, and I was not going to.
And you weren't going to take my bait. I know. All right.
Eternals is not good, though.
I've had a lot of coffee, but Eternals, it was really bad.
Least
I didn't
favorite Marvel movie?
Least favorite ever.
Yep.
I didn't care about the characters. I didn't care about the world building. I thought the CGI was just all over the place, and it was just too much. Like everything was an effect. I thought it was over the top. I didn't, again, care about anybody that was in it, and I don't really care where they're at now.
I'm scared because I don't think they're going away, and that scares me.
I don't think it performed particularly
I don't
well.
think it
I
matters.
don't think we're going to be hearing too much more from the Eternals.
Oh,
honestly.
that would be a blessing.
It did not make money. The critics didn't like it. That being said, this wasn't even my least favorite Marvel film of 2021.
I'm trying to think of what other one it could possibly be.
Spider-Man.
That is the worst take you've had a lot of takes that are offensive.
Spider-Man
That
was my
is-
least favorite Marvel film of 2021.
That
I
is
actually also
so-
liked Eternals better than Black Widow.
Wow.
I mean,
Wow.
this is not accurate information that you're hearing right now, folks. Spider-Man was so much better. This like Eternals didn't even make sense. Like it was like, who cares about
fucking
any of it?
Spider-Man.
Some Spider-Man
I will
completely
say,
makes sense.
if I'm trying to be positive about the Eternals, I really enjoyed Angelina Jolie.
I've already forgotten that she was in there with her
Just trying to bring one sense of
white
that
eyes.
should be our game. Is think of one positive thing. about
Oh
each.
gosh,
Okay,
that would be
one?
nice for this year. Okay, my favorite part of the Eternals, I won't say the obvious thing that Tim would say that was when it was over, but I will say I thought that what's his face was very cute. Who's the main guy?
Richard Madden.
Richard Madden.
Is he cute?
Is he the Superman-esque type
Yeah,
character?
yeah.
Yes.
I found him to be very attractive, and that's what I liked about this
He's
movie.
a good-looking guy.
Yeah,
Actually,
yeah, that's my number 5.
two people from Game of Thrones, at least, right?
Yeah.
In there.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Also
Although at this
Kip.
point, there are so many people in Eternals and so many people in Game of Thrones, it would be
Right,
very
yeah.
difficult for it not to have at least a few.
I thought for sure this was going to be on your guys' lists. Man, all right, that's my number 5. Tim, what's your number 5?
So I will start my number 5, which is I think going to be the single most contentious pick out of, unless you've picked something I'm not expecting on yours. I will start with my thing about it that I think is absolutely good, not even good, great. A great thing about this film.
Okay.
And we'll see if you can figure out what I'm talking
Okay.
about. I think this film has one of the best, maybe the single best performance Ben Affleck has ever given.
Oh, you bastard.
The Tender Bar, Amazon Prime original, made me want to cut my wrists.
Wow.
Boring as shit.
That's not boring.
It's so boring.
many stars
Nothing
did
happens
you
in this
give
movie.
this?
I gave this movie a star and a half.
That is rude. That is rude and
So,
uncharitable.
You know what else is rude? Making me sit through this man's unfathomably straightforward life.
Okay.
I
know you
just
gave
want to
this
say
4 stars. I saw your 4-star review. I'll let it ride.
I'm on the fence. I can see both perspectives.
No, you can't.
For what Tim is looking for in a movie.
Remember,
and then
you're
what
only married to
looking for.
one of us, so you don't need to see both of our perspectives.
Well, because
Right.
I'm right down the middle.
But you're the only one that's seen him in mesh underwear, Tim. So
I agree also that Ben Affleck is just
Ben Affleck's superb,
Fantastic,
and
yeah.
he makes everything emotional in this movie that works for me. It's just this guy went to Yale,
as
then left
all
Yale.
do.
and then how about
Pulitzer
that?
Prize,
How
became an
about that?
author.
Do you, my perspective was that like I know no I don't think people are really up on or care for that the adult version of the kid. What's his name?
What
actor?
is his name?
Tyler?
Ty Sheridan.
Oh,
Ty
no.
Sheridan.
Yeah.
Once he came, I cared less.
Oh, I
somehow.
cared.
I don't
I
know if
still
you
Clearly.
cared.
Well,
that
A,
young boy
all
was
the
fun.
good Ben Affleck stuff is with the younger child.
Correct.
B,
Yes.
Ty Sheridan got on the backside of puberty and lost absolutely every minute of screen charisma he had.
And yet he's getting these big roles.
He shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because he's uncharismatic and
I don't think that that's entirely true. I think he's more down to earth
he's
and
an off-putting
grounded.
screen presence.
I don't agree.
He
I
makes
think
me
he's very
sad.
sweet.
So I enjoyed the first half of this movie. I loved all the fatherisms or the uncleisms that
But then
Ben
the
Affleck was
uncleisms when he
dropping.
comes back when he's older and they go to the bar, they have their first drink, like all of that is like super sweet and endearing too.
I found this movie so boring.
Christopher Lloyd's in this, you guys.
So boring.
Oh my gosh.
I found this movie to be
You
just a trudge
literally
through mud.
watch 5-hour movies where there's no talking and grass growing.
Do you agree?
and you
though,
think this is boring?
you-
more so than that.
I
yes.
think you agreed, Kara,
The
though,
Grass
that
movie does not have pretensions to be more than that.
the catharsis that happens because this is a kid with maybe daddy issues. He keeps saying he doesn't have daddy issues, but he has daddy issues. I think the resolution of that was a little bit,
anticlimactic.
Yes.
I wanted more. I wanted a shiv. I wanted some sort of appendage to be wounded from the father, and I didn't get that. So but that didn't knock it down to 1.5 stars for me. This is,
like I said, I'm right there in
this is
between.
just a candy movie. It doesn't need to be overly
Yeah, but
dramatized.
it's like those candies that are like in the bottom of grandma's purse and they have like lint on them.
I
And you have to
love
rub the
those.
lint off. And then even when you pop it in, it's still just like,
Tastes a little
So
musty.
good.
it's still
Yeah.
just sugar. It's not like flavored. It's just like, here is hard sugar
I agree.
with lint on it.
But I love those candies is
Okay.
what I'm saying. It just reminds me of childhood, or like those little peppermint
It reminds me
Bismol
of
ones.
childhood in that sometimes your parents are in a business thing and they had to bring you along, but they ask you to sit in the waiting room.
Yes.
So you're just sitting in a waiting room and there's nothing but adult magazines. And you're like, well, am I going to read The Economist even though I'm 8 years old? So you just sit there and it feels like it's about 4 hours. It's probably really only 30 minutes, but they're the slowest 30 minutes.
Pulitzer Prize winning, right? Author?
Yes.
Yes.
Pulitzer Prize
Oh
winning?
yeah, let's real snuff at. Hey, we're sitting in a basement right now.
I'm not saying he's not a person who has achieved things in his life. I'm saying there's not drama involved.
It doesn't have to be drama in every
That's why it's
single
called a
movie.
dramatic medium.
There's many movies with less drama than this that you've given 5 stars.
Yes, but those movies are designed to have less drama than this. I found this movie
I liked the
turgid.
aesthetic. I felt like I was in the time.
And I didn't want to do a bottom 5 of the year. Look at this. Look at this joy that it's bringing everybody. This is great.
I'm more uncomfortable now than I was in the earlier conversation that Tim, we need to edit out still.
Well, I think we'll line up possibly with my number 5, and I'm gonna continue the trend of trying to say something nice about this one.
Okay.
This movie had a really enjoyable fart sequence. Like I really enjoyed.
Oh, I love that.
the fart sequence.
Wait, you're going to do Home Alone?
Home Sweet Home Alone was one of my worst movies. My
Oh.
5th worst movie of 2021.
Even with the fart scene?
The fart scene, I think I ended up at one star. I think half
Because
of that
of the
star
fart.
is that fart
I get
scene
that.
of trying to push she's trying to push him over the fence.
Yeah, and he toots on her face, and
Yeah.
it's amazing.
So good.
It's just a really good toot, though. Like it needs to be like a
Yes.
little bit wet.
I enjoyed the coupling of the couple in there.
I agree.
But what I hated was that they took a piece of nostalgia that I really love and they try to flip it on its head and make the kid kind of the bad guy in this, and it just didn't work for me. I didn't want bad things to happen to this couple that I actually loved. Archie Yates, cute in Jojo Rabbit, still okay
Still
here,
cute.
but like it just didn't work for me, and just the plot and yeah, but the fart got some laughs.
That
from it.
gotcha.
Yeah,
I have still not found the stamina to subject myself to this one.
Oh, you'll hate it.
there's
bet.
very
Yeah.
little like redeeming. There's some fun little. I guess there's one fun Easter egg, but now I believe he's been canceled.
Who?
I think it's okay to say Buzz makes an appearance.
he was
right?
canceled. I didn't realize
I
that.
believe so. Shortly after his VRBO or Airbnb, because you got to. Did you see this, Tim?
I have no idea what you're talking
Oh, so
about.
you could stay in the McAllister house on Airbnb,
Okay, heard about that.
hosted by Buzz, for one night, and it was for like $20. Obviously, they were just trying to get a lot of traffic to the site. And then shortly after, I believe he's alleged to have been an abusive spouse or boyfriend.
Oh, great.
So,
Great.
anyway, there's also a fun little Easter egg with the McAllister security system.
Nothing more fun than being reminded of spousal abuse, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good pick, Rob. Good pick.
But that's why it's on my worst.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on my worst.
Yeah, but you said one of the good things was that it had a wife beater in it. So I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't know.
That's true.
You've
But
been
there's
canceled.
McAllister Security. Kevin McAllister owns the
All right.
security
Well, we'll
company.
just
That's a
gloss
fun
over
movie.
it. We'll gloss over it.
Tracks. Yeah.
All right, I'm rolling in with my number 4, and I'm going to quickly on the fly think of something positive about it. The thing that I liked most about this movie is for the first time I found somebody that has scragglier hair than I do, even if it's flipped from the back to the front like Voldemort, sort of.
Voldemort is bald.
Well, no, not when he's attached to Quirrell. So Quirrell has like the face on the back on the opposite side.
Okay.
Oh.
Wait, what is this? I don't know what
This is Malignant.
This was one of my favorite movies.
Sure.
Of the year. So now you got,
so
now
you
got
rated
your
this?
back.
You rated this really low, huh?
Very low.
Okay.
I despised this movie
I'll
in
be
so
honest,
many ways.
I think peer pressure has made me come around on this.
Good.
Honey.
That's appropriate.
Yeah. And
I hope you felt sufficiently harassed into liking this
I think
movie.
I can now look at it and
No.
just let it go, like all of my hangups, and just laugh as
No.
I'm intended to.
It is. This is candy. Your shitty ass Werther's
is-
original that had been unwrapped.
This is
Candy. This one's like a big one of those candies that like you bite into it and like poofs with sugar
This is
in your face.
This is. I'll tell you what Malignant is for me. Malignant, I'll up the ante. Malignant is when you like get that piece of Trident gum that fell out of the package in the bottom, and it's got a few hairs like unknown. They're not even your color of hair that are attached in it, but you need the gum so bad that you try to like pick it off and then you eat it anyway. That's Malignant. Is that hairy piece of gum?
You just borrowed the one I used to describe Tender Bar.
No, you said the butterscotch candy.
Well, can't. Oh, so we've made it gum instead of
My
candy.
grandma's
so that's
candy
different.
never had hair on it.
I see. Well, I said lint, not hair.
Oh, sure.
So you're
This is hair.
changing the details in very superficial ways. This is what we call indirect plagiarism in teaching undergraduates.
That's my whole life. That's my whole life is indirect plagiarism. So yes, it's the same, only worse. And I thought this movie was a piece, and it was just a bunch of glued together, like horror tropes
Yes, agreed.
that never really came together
Don't
for
agree.
me. It felt like watching a Hallmark horror movie, then glued in with like The Matrix somehow. And I thought it was terrible and
I know
gory
you
in
never read
unkind ways.
any content that's on your own website.
I've read your review of Malignant.
Have you read my 40th birthday post?
I did.
So where I say that the movie from every year that just spoke deepest to me, the one from 2021 was this film.
But that doesn't make it right.
How does it make you feel?
I will say in
This is a
Carrie's
movie that lives in my heart.
I will say in Carrie's defense that there is still a bit of a cheat in my mind that the director had all of these resources to make this type of campy movie. It just feels like it should come from a place more of authenticity.
I think it comes from a very authentic place.
And like budget restriction.
Okay.
And that's the only hang up I have is like I'm looking at this movie, James Wan, right?
Yeah.
And there's $40 million budget.
I don't
think.
even
It costs
know.
a lot. It costs
Yeah, it was
a lot.
You
lot
could have
of
told
money.
me $17 and I would have believed you.
Had it been made for $17, I would have.
You wouldn't have gotten
appreciated
those wonderful CGI scene transitions if it had only cost $17. I like
I
the
mean,
CGI scene
yeah,
transitions.
it was just forced camp. But
Can I be honest? This is also something really mean. I feel like this is the kind of thing where like one person of note was like, this was campy and delightful. And then all the people like come out from like under their covers and they're like, me too.
I think
like,
that's very kind of you to say that I'm a person of note. Thank you.
I just think this is like crowd love versus like individual love. But
I
Neither here nor
this is
there.
good. I like the picking that you. I think both of you have selected movies to antagonize the other.
I have not.
So this is great.
I actually-
I'm going to start Target. I'm just going to look up Carrie's letterbox and I'm going to pick only things she gave 4.5 stars. You know, my number one worst of the film was the fucking Friends show.
you loved it.
You know what's bad
loved
about Friends is the Friends are sucky. I don't like Friends.
If you've ever read my reviews on Letterboxd, you know that it's delightful and wonderful and that you would enjoy it.
I don't like Friends, so I wouldn't like it.
I know.
Oh yeah, there was this whole Discord thing about you and Frasier too. You should get on there. Everybody was because you were a big Discord or a big Frasier person, right?
Were people saying that I'm wrong to like
They
Frasier?
said you're a big Daphne. That's what they said.
They're saying just wait for the Frasier reunion.
I don't want the Frasier
Special.
reunion. There's going to be a Frasier reboot. John Mahoney's
What?
dead.
Yeah, John
There's a
Mahoney
Frasier
passed
There's a
away.
Frasier
Yeah.
reboot coming along. John Mahoney's dead. There's no point.
There's no point.
There's no point.
Who cares? The dog. What about the dog?
Well,
He's still alive. The
didn't
dog's
live through-
still alive.
They already had to replace the dog at least once in the original run of
I
Frasier.
love that dog.
What's his name then,
Well,
Rob?
there were two of them
I don't
because it died midway through the show. Because Jack Russells don't live 12 years.
I'm trying to think of his name right now.
Eddie.
Max? Eddie. Ah. Anyway, I digress. That's my number 4, Malignant, the worst movie you've ever seen.
So my number 4, well, it's not even the worst movie you've seen. There's at least 3 worse.
That's
than
true.
Malignant. So my number 4, best thing I can say about it, I think it has a really good cell shading. I think the technology used in creating this animated film impressed me.
Oh, maybe we'll line up here.
Oh, so this
looked
is Spider-Man.
It looked like real, what?
The animated movie.
Animated.
Oh, you're
It
right.
was live action.
That's right.
Sort of. No, I'm referring to the grisly attempt to do a live action animated hybrid of Tom and Jerry.
That's my 3.
Whoa, me too.
All right.
Oh,
That's my number 3.
we never overlap. Tell us why it's terrible. I don't have anything positive.
So many reasons it's terrible.
And I appreciate that you went first with the say something nice. I had nothing for that one, so
So you guys can bandwagon on mine. Have
the
good
shade,
cell shading.
good shading.
I love those
they
cells.
look like hand drawn cartoon characters, even though they're 3D models.
Yeah.
But my God, the plot, it's all about like a con artist lying her way into a job she's unqualified for, then having to constantly cover her own ass with the help of Tom and Jerry. And we're meant to find this compelling in some level. The Tom and Jerry aren't even antagonizing each other because they're both trying to bail Chloe Grace Moretz's ass out. So like they're just like her lackeys.
Do you like her in general, though, and other things?
Not really.
No.
I
think I'm middle of the road.
I grew to love her on the plane ride because I saw Shadow in the Clouds, and
Shadow in the Clouds is my favorite one of her films, honestly.
Yeah.
I really dug that movie.
and maybe the first Kick-Ass for me.
That's fair.
And then that's about it for me with Chloe.
Yeah, this movie is very bad. And I thought it could be really fun. Like there's ways that they could have made this
been
totally
fun.
enjoyable
It
and
just
fun.
wasn't.
Yeah, and not memorable in
And
really any way.
like the whole mix of it still hasn't been done better in my mind since Roger Rabbit of the cartoon in human or in living world. It did not fit well.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
It was
I don't know
very
why they can't
strangely
perfect that.
executed. One of the big problems I had was that there was a sort of lack of thought. It was very careless. So like every animal is a CGI animal. But like at one point they go to a fish market and there are people like flinging dead cartoon fish around the fish market. And it's like, no.
Yeah, that's
Why are you
Yeah.
making me think about dead cartoon fish?
I've blocked all of this out.
You know what? I just realized another positive. Michael Pena. Because I like Michael Pena.
I'll spot you that.
Yeah, I'd agree
and
there.
it's the married couple. It's the SNL Weekend Update person.
Yeah, Colin Yost.
Yes.
Yost? Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
horrible.
Off-putting, smarmy, smug, just slime mold of a person.
I know that's what they're
That's-
kind of supposed to be going for a little
But
bit. right?
I didn't want it in front of my eyeballs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with both of your pros. Michael Pena and the cellular painting. Those are the only two good things about it.
Whew, look at us on the same page.
Gosh,
Dawn.
we're back as a team again.
back as a team.
Feels good. Put your hands together.
Whereas that there wasn't really voice casting for that one because it was live action.
Yeah.
Because Tom and Jerry don't talk. That's
my
the thing.
my number 4, I will say the positive thing about it is it had a really nice voice cast. You had Charlize Theron, you had Oscar Isaac.
Oh boy.
You actually had Chloe Grace Moretz, right, in this as well too.
I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah,
I'm
keep
sure I'll
going,
get
Rob. We
there.
need more
Oh,
positives.
hold on. More positives. Nick Kroll is in there. Snoop Dogg is the voice, I believe, in one
It's
of
like
them.
I know what you're saying, but I can't get to the movie.
I think I have
What
the
is
right
it?
voice. I have the right voice.
No,
cast.
I'm just drawing a blank.
No, I'm right so far. This is Bette Midler as Grandma, Bill Hader as Cyrus Strange. I'm talking about Addams Family too.
Oh.
What a shitbag!
Oh, was it?
I just completely forgot
That's-
that
I
existed.
forgot.
Exactly. It's
I think that was okay.
It's a nothing. What happens?
The
Oh no, don't worry, Kara. Let me read the IMDb plot for you. Ready? The Addams family get tangled up in more wacky adventures and find themselves involved in hilarious run-ins with all sorts of unsuspecting characters.
There were both adventures and run-ins. Now that you
Agreed.
say that, I remember that.
and unsuspecting characters. I remember.
I do
all
remember.
Of those.
I do
What is
remember.
the plot?
Here's my positive. It does actually allow Wednesday to murder someone in cold blood,
Yes.
and it's presented as a joke, and it happens, and it's over.
Yes.
She pushes someone off a cliff.
I actually, now that I'm like literally just came to what the plot is, I remember that someone's trying to
There's, like-
steal Wednesday's
Wednesday,
adopt her.
like her parentage has been faked, and she thinks it's very complicated
Right.
and sort of sour in a way. It's like feels very pessimistic in ways that are not true to anything that I want.
just
Very, very unpleasant movie.
just not good.
I just have forgotten.
And
it.
like while
good
it's-
lighting effects as well. Though. Good lighting.
good
effects.
lighting effects, and while I enjoy Oscar Isaac and Charlie, like there's there's been a trend. It's not a trend because it's been since the dawn. Like, get big names attached. Maybe not the best voice actors, and it's continuing to spread as we find Chris Pratt like cast in every single animated movie from here on.
Is Mario.
Yeah, he's going to be Mario. I think he's
Mario.
casting something else too.
I don't care because he's going to be Mario. That's going to be bad.
It makes no sense that he's going to be Mario.
I
Chris
feel like
Pratt
that's sad.
is Mario.
I feel like
Care.
for me, the fact that they have to get these really big people, like this is the opportunity for people that are actors that might not be as aesthetically pleasing to like do something.
Well, that is a terrible thing to say about
Wait,
voice
what?
actors. My God Almighty!
What?
You know how all voice actors are.
You
fat
have the face for radio.
This is the thing.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant.
It is a beautiful skill that has been developed and honed by some great
Oh,
artists.
he's Garfield. That actually maybe
right.
that could be maybe
that doesn't trigger like a wave of nausea the way that he as
Yes.
Mario does.
I didn't mean that the way that you guys
No?
turned that on me. I just meant,
Interesting.
do you need Charlize Theron behind a cartoon? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Never mind.
So yeah, that one was not as bad for me as Tom and Jerry, but quite up there. So you all were maybe favorable on that, or
Well, it just
I
didn't make
can't
my
imagine.
bottom five.
Yeah,
It
Okay,
doesn't make
I
my-
just
Just
want to
forgot.
make sure no one was three stars plus
No.
on this. Okay,
I forget if I ended up at two or 2.5. I think I put it a smidgen above the first one because it is slightly better animated.
okay, yeah. Plot wise, I preferred the first. 'cause-
Plot wise, the first one's
yeah.
better.
Go ahead, Care.
No, that's past my number 3. So
Actually,
I
yeah.
think,
So we're back to my number three then.
Back to yeah.
So my thing about my number 3 that's good
okay.
is that I pirated it, so I didn't have to pay money for it.
I need more. You need to think about actual movie
It
quality.
means that we now never have to debate what is the worst Studio Ghibli film.
Okay.
So we get to save time. And it's cool that Studio Ghibli tried something new. And in this case, they tried CGI. And the film that they tried this with was Earwig and the Witch,
Oh.
directed by Goro Miyazaki, Hayao Miyazaki's awful, talentless son, who's now made the 3 worst Studio Ghibli films. And should, hopefully when his father passes, which God forbid that's anytime soon, I hope Goro is written out of the will.
That is, you know what? I don't feel so bad anymore about my previous comments. That's much worse.
But you're
It's much
saying
worse.
that talented artists are ugly. I'm saying that
Oh.
an untalented artist does not deserve love.
They're both bad.
They're
They're both
different.
very bad.
But yeah, so this is a movie about a little orphan girl who gets hooked up with a witch. And it's like a perfectly straightforward, fine plot, although a little bit undernourished, and it ends very abruptly. Like there's no resolution really. But it's done in the CGI that is the ugliest shit. And it's Ghibli is trying to translate their characteristic style into 3D models, and it looks so bad. And the movement is just weird and stiff, and like characters' hair is just kind of like these giant like chunks of plastic moving with their body, and everything is surfaceless, and the lighting is very ugly. It's so hideous to look at. And if the story were a lot better, maybe you could at least kind of overlook that. But the story is just such a blank nothing. Like the main character, Earwig, this little girl, has no personality, and what little personality she has is kind of unpleasant. And nothing happens. Like she goes and she hangs out with a witch, and she doesn't like the witch, and then eventually she's like, oh, I guess the witch is okay. The end.
I, for some reason, had a memory of you liking this.
Well, your memory is
wrong.
deeply
It's
miscalibrated.
deeply wrong. Because I think I even wanted to see this. Because I thought maybe the kids would like it. Is it kid friendly?
I can't imagine who else would like it besides a small child.
So maybe we're both in. Maybe the kids and I will both like it. Yeah, I had this on my radar to watch. And Tim, Rob, whatever your name is, you missed it too. You never caught this either.
Yeah, Ghibli is still like acquired taste for me.
See the good Ghiblis before you see the bad Ghibli. Holy shit.
I've seen a lot of Ghibli's now since
You've seen
our
some Ghiblis.
Ghibli episode. I've seen at least 6.
And Ghiblis have hair on them, Karen.
I was going to say, it sounds like Paul also saw some Ghiblis.
They don't. I actually just Googled it and they don't. It's just your Ghibli's and Tim's. So anyway.
I feel like Care, or at least one of the remaining 2, will have to line
They
up for.
have to.
Otherwise, you've forgotten.
I agree.
Okay.
All right. So we're on to your number.
No, to your number 2.
Oh,
We
gosh.
both have 2 and 1 left.
Okay. All right. Don't peek, Tim. Don't
I'm not
peek. Hang
peeking.
on. I got to scroll up. Okay. The next one that I have on here also made me so mad.
Okay.
Because I'm supposed to go with something positive.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Something positive about this movie. I would say looking at these people, it made me feel better about where I'm at currently with my own face. because they look so bad.
Voice actors.
All right, to be clear, I would be a good voice actor. I would not. I would be Charlize. I should have played Charlize Theron's voice actor. I am behind. I don't know
what you're saying.
I'm saying I'm not. I am in the same category
You
of
should be the
people who
voice of
should be a
Charlize
voice.
Theron.
Exactly.
When they make the Furiosa movie, you should overdub Charlize Theron.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
That's what I'm saying.
She should just stick to acting. That
She should just
pretty-faced bimbo.
exactly.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. Don't say just leave the words to me.
Yeah.
Is what I'm saying. So that's what's happening in this movie as well. I don't want to hear anything you're saying. The writing is terrible, but it did make me feel good about my aging process. Anybody? Come on.
I think I might know what you're talking about, and if I'm right, I thought it was going to be your number one.
Oh, it's the worst M. Night Shyamalan movie I've ever
Oh,
seen. What did you think?
I didn't know you disliked that much.
I didn't know you hated it this much.
I really
Yeah.
did. I felt like they think I'm an idiot while I'm watching it. Like the writing was really bad. It was so cheesy. The effects again of the aging process were not solid as well. I hated everybody knows this from the previews or the trailers. Like the birth situation
Sure.
that happens
That's-
is just as bad as I expected.
I worried that would be something that happens in the movie, and they went there.
And then really the overall message that it's going for is so dumb. Like it's just like at the end of the day, it's dumb.
What is the message?
I think the message is good.
I don't
but
know what the
I
message
don't-
is.
I don't think it hits
It
with
didn't
the way
deliver
that they
it. No,
deliver it.
no, no,
like
no.
I get it. Like it's like, yeah, like you should
Whether you
be in
have
the now.
1 minute or a 100 years,
minutes, like live then. But they're
in the
not
moment.
really, even when they figure out that they're going to be dying, they
one's
just
blind,
still,
one's deaf, and I'm sorry, they're just like trying to have a conversation, and yeah, it's just so fun. It's actually
wait,
quite
somebody
amusing.
was blind?
Yeah,
Yes.
at the end with
Oh,
They
yes,
don't even understand.
yes.
I know we're
So
spoiling
you're
it.
right,
I'm so
you're right.
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
But
It's just, they don't know what
Good
they're
God.
saying.
they don't even know what they're
This
saying.
is so much worse than when Carrie insulted
I'll
voice actors.
bleep it out, but it's just
No,
like,
don't leave it in.
No, but
I
it's
won't be able to
just,
hear your iniquity.
it's just
they keep
terrible.
asking each other, what are you saying?
What are you saying? I can't see ya, Herb. You know,
Yeah.
like it actually felt like looking into the future because my hearing is already going a
and
little
I
bit.
can't see where shit.
And Rob can't see anything. So I'm always like, what? And he's like, a little bit louder. And he's like, where are you, Gare? Yeah, like already. And so
That's how we're gonna go.
that's
Karen.
how we're going to go.
love it.
And then the resolution of that movie, I hated the ending on top of it.
Because you think
like,
that had that been handled well, then that's where it should have ended. But then
it should have ended, but then they just keep going, like the over exposition of what it is and like how it's working. And it's just like,
Explaining the beach was a disastrous mistake.
agreed. Like make it like but I also don't like when you explain yourself out of a movie through something that doesn't
wait
make
for
any
this.
sense.
Wait for the sequel, like John Wick 2 or whatever, to like dabble into the what happens.
So
Like,
what happens?
it's
Just
like the
left it as
hotel of-
being
of
this
John
weird
Wick.
beach where you age. Like just leave it there, and it's just. I was actively mad that
I think
saw
I'm
this.
2 stars on it.
I think I was 1 or 1.5 maybe. So yeah, that's old is my number 2.
Okay.
What did you think? You said you thought you knew what it was. What did you think it was,
We'll
Tim?
see if it's your number one.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I don't wanna-
All
I don't wanna
right,
spoil it.
so on to yours, Tim.
So my positive thing about my number 2 is that I can tell that the director is a good sense of humor and is not too fussy about himself, because he liked my very negative Letterboxd review of his film.
oh, I know what this is now. I know what it is. I just
remember
watched
this
it too, so I want to know your opinion.
This is Werewolves Within.
Oh, sure.
I just
Hey,
watched
We talked
it.
to him.
Yeah, I know. This is from, I forget his name, Josh something,
Rubin.
director of Scare Me, another movie that I really disliked. I disliked this one even less. Basically what it comes down to, it's a wacky goofball comedy about like, who's the werewolf? It's based on that werewolf or mafia card game. And I think I just not once did I laugh at this movie. And that's what it comes down to. Like, this movie worked. It needs you to think it's funny if it's going to work. And I just found it.
You have to
miserably
like
funny.
his sense of humor in particular. He has a very specific sense of humor
And
that
I-
was captured in that other
Scare me.
Scare Me.
Scare Me. Yeah, Scare Me.
Yeah, so I found the whole thing shrill. I found the characters to be mugging and overacting in really unpleasant ways, and I wanted more werewolf and less people screeching at each other and swearing.
The
about
AT&T
werewolves.
girl's in there. I like her.
That is what I've been told.
Yeah.
I don't know what
You
that
didn't
means.
like the main guy?
I like him. He's
the
funny.
ranger? You
I
didn't
like
like him?
his-
I didn't like him.
He is delightful. I was so on this movie. I didn't hate it nearly as much as you. I get to a point sometimes where I'm actually, that brand of humor works for me, but when it's so much, like every line is a joke, every line is a bit, every whatever. Sometimes you're like, okay, I'm good. Like let it breathe a little bit.
It felt like being trapped in a room, sort of the same way I felt about Scare Me. It felt like I was trapped in a room with try-hard theater kids who just would not fucking shut up and would not stop doing bits.
And I feel like you've been there. You've been in
for
that
like
too.
2 minutes.
It's a perfect
for them to
assessment.
stop doing bits and just like take the moment seriously. And they never did the entire fucking running time.
Another positive on it. I don't know if you agree, but the set, like really, I really felt like that town is a place, and the snow.
The sets were good. The snow was good.
Yeah.
I felt like the town was a place. I didn't feel like the people who lived there were
Right.
people.
No, they're all
specifically. No force in the universe would have actually brought the gay couple to
Yes,
that town.
the
That was just
apothecary.
straight up.
Haven't you
What
ever
do they
seen
own?
Schitt's Creek? They own a little,
another unlikely place for an apothecary.
but it works there, right?
I'm just saying it's not likely that an apothecary would
I'm
would
saying,
succeed.
why would those characters live there when they are so very clearly? There's nothing there to keep them there. It's not like there's cultural. It's not
I
like
think
there's
I think
anything
you might be
pleasant.
doing a little bit of the thing that Rob did earlier, where you're like you're splitting hairs. Bowling alley, like who cares? These people are all just
To be
here
fair,
in one
for
place.
Schitt's Creek, they're forced to be in Schitt's Creek.
That's true. That's true.
That's not a choice.
I did feel like it was a random hodgepodge, but it had a little bit of a clue element to me, like a
Sure.
whodunit. Like
Oh, yeah.
you're trying to narrow the down. I like that. Again, middle
I
of
think
the
your
road.
mileage varies just depending on whether or not. I think Tim put it perfectly. It is and I don't want to besmirch the theater. It's the improv troupe.
I'll
At our
besmirch
school.
the hell out of them. Theater kids suck, and I don't like them.
I thought you kind of were like friends with a lot of them.
I am, but I don't have to like the people I'm friends with.
I see. That makes sense. That tracks. So that was your number 2.
That was my number 2.
All right,
So
my
then-
number 2 has
yeah.
to be your number 1.
It has to
because
be.
otherwise you've forgotten about this.
I have not forgotten.
Hulu original. I went in thinking because it's one of Carrie's favorite actors. A pretty solid cast.
Is he on my free pass list?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe he is.
Yeah, he is.
He's also the recipient of a Run by Fruiting. Oh, you forgot it. Oh, wait, it is your number 1?
It's my number 1.
Okay. The positive about this film is
In
that
the
I no
title.
longer need to have a vasectomy because I'm no longer having sex with Carrie after this movie.
All right.
That's good. Yeah, after seeing this movie, we just if not had sex. So no vasectomy
We
needed.
saw it 2 years
Yes.
ago.
This movie is called False Positive.
Yes.
Yeah,
And my
2021.
positive is it's just in the title. Like that it's the word positive is there.
This is kind of a Rosemary's Baby attempt, but
Meets Splice.
like fertility clinic, like
Ugh.
specific. Pierce Brosnan plays this really. I mean, he's just a very handsome, charismatic
yeah.
doctor,
Yeah,
but
he is.
something's amiss. Something's wrong. This woman has been having challenges getting pregnant with her husband, Justin Theroux. The lead actress is played by Alana Glazer. It's just anything to do with like
You don't love anything fertility.
You spend so much time with the camera shot of between her legs split apart, and then Pierce Brosnan's face right there, like with like his little like
Charming smile.
charming smile, and holding like a syringe, or I don't know what are those things that split things apart.
Those are called
Scepters. I don't know.
Scepters.
Speculum?
Speculum. Yes.
Gosh, I wasn't going to get there, Tim.
And
So
hit-
thanks.
There's even one where like it plays like
I object to your definition of speculum as those things that split things apart.
so anything
I think
to
it's
do
just a thing, right?
anything to do with insemination, like.
Rob's really bothered by that.
Like, and then add the fact of this not supernatural element, but this kind of like thriller, like what did they actually put in her? Maybe,
oh
you know,
gosh,
like,
I just want to barf with you
yeah.
even just
and
saying
things
that.
growing
Ugh.
inside you that aren't yours, like all of that stuff creeps me out. The
Ah.
whole alien Prometheus situation, like as an example, like was actually handled very well, but that's like my worst nightmare.
Worst case scenario for Rob is that there's a blood situation. Rob's always like, "Oh, I got to turn it off." Like you can't handle that.
But that aside, it's just a terrible movie.
Oh my gosh.
In addition to
the
it,
last scene of this movie made me literally want to call John Lee and punch him in the face through the phone. I was
John Lee,
just
the director of the film.
director of the film.
Why didn't you write Alyssa Nutting, the writer?
I'm not going down this. I'm not taking your bait. I know what that is now.
Oh my gosh, the main actress also wrote the screenplay.
It's
there you go.
it's the most angering movie that I've seen in a very long time because it's terrible and it takes you with it. Like you have to figure out what's going to happen. And it has such good actors that you're like, this has got to go somewhere good, and never does. And it's awful. And the last scene of this, is it a spoiler to say what happens in the last scene of this? Yeah, it is. I won't tell you, but it's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Pretty awful.
Like imagine a
Pretty
small
awful.
mouse nursing on a teat.
Is that specifically what happens?
It's what it
Is
looks
this like a dark and gritty Stuart Little?
I don't know. But
It
I
was
don't think
pretty
that's
awful.
it's the worst thing I've ever seen. So never, ever, ever see the movie False Positive. It's
I
the
think you
worst
sold me.
thing.
Now I'm curious.
Now you're in.
I don't remember hearing anything about this. Did you guys talk about
Pierce
it?
doesn't want anybody to know about this. He's horrified. I can tell.
I don't remember talking about it at Pass the Popcorn or anything. Just because
I don't think I remember.
Yeah, we
I
should.
I don't
have
think
even
we
heard this
processed
movie
it very
existed.
well. We were like, let's just pretend that never, ever happened.
Hulu. I gotta say, Hulu, as far as the original content,
Terrible.
It's the worst.
So this is why I didn't include streaming stuff because it's
Yeah.
just like why even give it oxygen? Why even-
Yeah, I agree.
4.7 on IMDb. So
That's
Ooh, that's
generous.
very generous.
That's
Yeah.
generous.
Anything below like a 6.5 means people fucking hate it.
I've got one left.
That's a good
lower.
point.
Oh,
Good point.
geez. All right, Tim, where are you at?
So I'm at a film that I don't know how you guys felt it, but I don't think either one of you liked it. It's a nostalgia sequel. A lot of nostalgia sequels happen
Oh,
this year. And this is a nostalgia sequel to a property I have no affection for, so I'm already going into it sort of with a God damn it, why did you bring back the corpse of this wretched thing in the first place? But then the product itself was so much worse than I could conceivably have feared.
I agree.
It is ugly. It is boring. The plot is weirdly imbalanced. The jokes are terrible. I'm referring to Space Jam.
Oh,
Sure. I considered this for sure.
I thought you were talking about
I thought for
Ghostbusters.
sure that was going to be your number one.
It's not my least favorite thing of the year.
But no, Space Jam, every minute of it made me unhappy.
Ah.
Every single thing. Oh, the positive. Positive. I liked the 2D animated model of LeBron James. I thought it was well designed.
Yeah. I wish they would have stayed in 2D world.
Is this on your list, Rob?
No, I just
Oh.
I it's down there for me. I should say it would be my number 6.
Okay.
You know, this movie it was
Notoriously bad. Everybody
very,
hated it.
very specifically designed to trigger everything that I don't like.
And I never watched it. You watched it with the kids, and I was doing other things.
that probably
so I can't
made it
put it on here.
choice.
a more enjoyable experience. Had I watched
That
this,
your terrible harridan of a wife wasn't with you. I agree.
Yeah, that's right.
she's always off just chatting with grown-ups. I'm always left watching the kids. But to be fair, it's because I prefer the company of children. That sounds weird.
Yeah. No, I think that tracks.
For the company of children.
That
Live your
tracks.
truth,
Yeah.
Rob.
Yeah. All of our gal
Live
neighbors
it in
were-
prison, but live your
Yeah.
truth.
All right, I'm finishing off with my least my least favorite of 2021. Also happens to be the fifth worst movie according to Letterboxd. Also a 3.7 on IMDb.
Did I see this with you?
Nope.
Oh,
Or
good.
3.0. 3.0 on IMDb. Another Hulu original. After False Positive, I was
Yeah.
like, you know what? Going to give Hulu another shot
One more.
because I'm in a bit of a horror mood.
Yeah.
The plot seemed kind of interesting. We were about to head to a resort place, and this is the movie called The Resort. I can't think of one goddamn thing to say that's nice about this. It's very
was free.
possible. It was free. It's very possible that this could be a movie so bad that there's something like enjoyable, like a drinking game that you could get out of this.
Okay.
But I could not find it. But maybe there are people out there. This is 4 friends head to Hawaii to investigate reports of a haunting at an abandoned resort.
Sounds good.
Of finding the infamous half-faced girl. When they arrive, they soon learn they should be very careful what they wish for. Kind of intriguing.
Is it?
Abandoned resort on Hawaii where we were going to go to resort. 4 friends. Like, I love the setup. And then you have what is a Chris Hemsworth cast lookalike guy
Okay.
with the long hair, like Thor lookalike guy. And the lines that are
promising.
being delivered in this movie, I was trying to find some quotes. Can't find quotes from this. It's more like, "Hey, bro, like ever bang her? Like you get your nuts in her face, man." Like that's the kind of writing
That sounds clever.
It sounds
that
like
I'm talking about.
this
And
podcast. That's terrible.
if it was done as a joke, like as satire or like something, like it's taking itself seriously. Like maybe this is how. I don't know. And I apologize to the writer Taylor Chin and director. It's just like the
didn't work
writing.
for ya.
I was so turned off by the writing, but then the cuts, the edits are just it's sloppy filmmaking. I'm so sorry, Taylor.
He's not listening.
Taylor should be sorry for making you watch a piece of shit movie.
Yes, I mean it's just
And you watched the whole thing.
I did not.
Oh, okay.
I just could not bring myself to digest that level
What
of
if it took a
dialogue.
turn and it got amazing by the end? Who knows?
Someone needs to tell me.
Someone.
I need to go on Letterboxd and see if there's anybody else. But this got
The Resort.
like I can't rank lower than half a star, but
Okay.
it would be lower. And
Light it on fire.
yeah,
Okay.
it just did not had no payoff for what it was.
So
yeah.
sounds to me like Hulu originals are
I'm
really
off.
really a golden,
Yeah.
just a beautiful treasure trove of
Not
of good
taking
things.
any more chances unless like someone tells me that something is worthwhile there. Also the director of Duty Pants.
Duty Pants.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a short.
I don't even know where to go with that.
That's a Tim's number one.
Okay.
Oh, are we done?
We're done. Space Jam is my
Holy
number one.
That
mackerel.
was his number one.
Oh, very good.
He left it on Duty Pants.
I think this is going to be yeah, that's a good way to end. I think this is something we should do on an annual
think we
basis
should.
because this was just as much fun, if not more fun, than my top, and I was not expecting that to happen. But let's check in with the audience.
I've always assumed that you would enjoy bottoming more than
yeah,
topping.
I do like to be on the bottom.
Leaving that one there too. Leaving it there.
Let's check in with
I'm
our
referring
audience.
to receiving or
Yeah.
giving
Hit that button.
Anal
You have
sex.
that little bleep button.
when
Based-
a phallus enters the rectum.
Based on our audience submissions, here are your bottom fives. Tied for number 5, Cinderella, and I'm sorry, Dear Evan Hansen. I guess I'm sorry for myself because I liked it
didn't love
better.
Dear Evan
I liked
Hansen.
it better than you
I
did.
thought it was terrible.
Tied at number 4, movie that Tim reviled as well as Diana the Musical.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even call Diana the Musical a movie. Like, it just was DQ'd.
Mm-hmm.
Cinderella would have made my list if I wasn't disqualifying direct streaming.
And Mortal Kombat, did not care for it either, but I didn't, I guess.
I wouldn't call it that bad.
Yeah. Number 3 was music. The Sia directed.
yeah, I
or
haven't
something.
seen
it,
I've
don't
heard-
want to.
I've heard it's
There's a
terrible.
lot of buzz on that on the Discord channel.
Yeah.
Going back and forth. People are just like, what is it called when you like throwing yourself into the fire? What do you call that? Like
Self-immolation.
I don't know. One of those things. Like it's bad, but now you're watching it just because you have to know how bad.
Yeah.
Jeez, now I need to watch it.
I know.
Number 2, very controversial as far as ratings go, and that's Don't Look Up. Most watched, most talked about, but yeah, people are either, I don't know if they love it, but they either like it or really hate it. It seems like.
I mean,
don't know where
for
you
me,
all-
it's clearly a step above Vice, so I could never call it the worst of the year.
my big problem with is, and I've told Carrie's been asking me, should I watch this? Should I watch this? I don't think you'd hate it, Care, but it is.
Well, you hated Vice, correct?
Yeah, I did not like that
It's
at all.
very much a film in the spirit of Vice.
Okay.
It is way too like this is so less realistic than Vice. Like leans so heavy on the satire to a place where it just becomes like unrealistic to me. But yeah, I
I'll
thought
probably
it was-
pass.
I
I'll
thought it was
probably
fun.
pass.
And then number 1, just like Tim, Space Jam: A New Legacy. Our winner this week is blank. I didn't write their name down. I will have to go back and throw their name in. Who had the worst 2021 release movies I've seen are Malcolm and Marie by Sam Levinson. Number 4, Cherry. Oh, this is Chris Trendrove. I just remembered based on the picks. So I'm going to leave it in.
Okay.
Chris.
All right.
Who is who
We
is
are
a
so
Cherry
organized.
would have made my bottom 5 if
Yeah.
I had not disqualified.
And Chris is a writer on the site as well as a theater major.
which means in theory we should potentially not allow Chris to win awards.
possibly.
Maybe we'll think about that for next time.
Number 3, Space Jam: A New Legacy. 2, Cinderella. And number 1, music, Sia. Also wanted to note, I watched music today at when he submitted his picks just in time. God, it is abysmal. In closing, I want to thank everybody for listening. Head out to our Facebook page and like it. Twitter, where we're actually tweeting all the time. Thanks
Thank
to
you, Brennan.
making me an honest man. Instagram, now we're Instagramming
All
all
the time.
Yeah. Alternate.
Oh, are we TikToking?
No,
We're not
Don't
TikToking.
get
Not
crazy.
yet.
Don't
Not
get
yet.
crazy.
Not
Never.
yet.
Never.
AlternateEnding.com will find all our movie reviews, podcasts, features, and more. YouTube and Facebook will find all our video-related content. Subscribe to our podcast on iTunes or Google. And don't forget about Patreon. We will catch you next time.